Auckland, New Zealand. The city of sails becomes the city of SailGP. This sport is in their DNA.
What a start as New Zealand claims the first event of the 2025 season.
It goes deeper than winning or losing. It's part of their heritage, etched into their history, carried on the wind and coursing through their veins. This is where innovation meets tradition, where courage meets the relentless power of the elements. Today, F-50s clash on the waters that have tested champions for generations. Feel the tension, the energy and the rivalries. It's not just a race, this is SailGP.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best, yes. Powered by nature, raw passion, all action. When it takes, racing on water, racing with impact. Give it all, everything, give it all, everything. We are racing. When it takes, we are SailGP.
The second event of SailGP's 5th season brings the world's best sailors to the Southern Hemisphere and the Kiwis' largest city. For the first time, the league will race in one of the most spectacular port cities anywhere in the world. This is the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix Auckland. Known as the City of Sails, Auckland will play host this weekend as the Rolex SailGP Championship brings 11 national teams to this stunning port city. After a 6-week break since the last event, the teams are ready to test out the latest in sailing technology with the launch of the highly anticipated new T-foils. The added improvements will make for more responsive boats in a wide variety of conditions. Massive crowds are expected on a picture-perfect day for racing in this iconic sailing city. Alongside former world champion Emily Nagel and Olympian Stevie Morrison, I'm Todd Harris. Well, Season 5 got off to an amazing start in Dubai in November, with Sydney coming next in February. The 13-event season takes in some traditional stops like Cadiz, Spain, San Francisco, California, and New York City, while also making first-time visits to Rio, Brazil, Geneva, Switzerland, and Sassnitz, Germany. The SailGP calendar will test these national teams on 5 separate continents before a season champion is crowned 11 months from now in Abu Dhabi.
SailGP is our close-to-shore, nation versus nation, high-speed, high-tech racing series that is truly like no other. The league started in 2018 to redefine the future of sailing. Our competition takes us to epic locations for our biggest series yet. The Rolex SailGP Championship is decided at the end of the season following a year-long competition where the best of the best rack up points competing for a $12.8 million prize pool, with a grand final winner taking $2 million. This showdown is where the top 3 teams go head-to-head to carve their name in the SailGP Championship trophy. SailGP races take place on a standardised course designed for both speed and spectator engagement. The course features a series of marks that teams must navigate around, including the start line, gates and finish line. The course consists of several legs, including upwind and downwind sections, where teams must execute tacks and jives and manoeuvre around marks placed at each end of the course. This requires teams to make strategic decisions about which side of the gate to pass through, adding a tactical element to the race. The spectacular part of what makes SailGP unique is that all of the teams compete in identical F-50s. The F-50 is a catamaran that revolutionised the sport with its foiling design, lifting the boats out of the water, minimising drag and approaching speeds of 100 kilometres an hour. These high-tech catamarans can go over 3 times the speed of the wind, with the athletes on board experiencing up to 3 Gs of force. Similar to an aeroplane on a runway, when the F-50 reaches the right speed, its hydrofoils lift the boat out of the water. But these spectacular athletes are on the limit. Fly too high and you'll lose control. The crashes can be spectacular. It will be thrilling to see how the new teams measure up against the established powerhouses of SailGP. The Rolex SailGP Championship is just one event into the season. What did we learn from the first event in Dubai? With the transfer season running wild, the new teams got hold of big talent, and it's fair to say that Mubadala Brazil and Red Bull Italy were mixing it up from the get-go.
Great start by the Brazilians.
The United States pre-season training paid dividends, and with Hans Henken back as flight controller, they were calm and collected.
Taylor Canfield, nothing more spectacular than winning the first race of the season.
They made the event final and started the year ahead of the season teams.
You know, when it comes to race time and that start gun goes off, it's elbows out. You know, we're here to win.
The reigning Spanish champions Diego and Florian came into Dubai on a high after claiming Olympic gold together.
What a first leg by Bottini. He absolutely nailed that.
Just one foiling error in the final fleet race ended their chances of making the event final.
We finished fourth because we deserved it, and we made our mistakes. We are trying to clean up this for this event and see if we can perform a bit better.
Australia were right in the mix in Dubai, changing up their start strategies and on the pace.
He's thread the needle. Unbelievable there.
But fifth in the standings won't satisfy Slingsby. Will the potentially stronger wins in the Southern Hemisphere play into the hands of the experienced teams?
It'll be interesting to see who adapts to these new foils the quickest. And yeah, we've got a few things that we're working on that we're trying to keep hidden.
For new signing Giles Scott on board Canada, a mid-table finish doesn't give him anything to smile about by his standard.
But North Star Canada very much in this race.
But with his team now under new ownership, they have a long-term vision.
We're looking to build this team and move it right up there to the top of the tables.
Emirates GBR CEO Ben Ainsley recruited Season 1 driver 49er Olympic gold medalist Dylan Fletcher. Fletcher's muscle memory saw him gel quickly to the F50 and returned in fighting form and secured second place overall.
It was a great result for the team, and we're really looking to build on that for the whole rest of the season.
For New Zealand's black foils, the numbers do the talking. They were the fastest team on the water.
Perfect from Burling at the bottom of the line. What a start from the black foils.
New flight controller Leo Takahashi was quick to find his groove. A solid start from this established team.
Yeah, we're just super excited to get out there and I suppose show the fans what this league's all about and a pretty special part of the world.
Well, make no mistake about it, SailGP Season 5 has 12 national teams, but technical issues on the main wing for Team France will keep them off the start line this weekend as repairs continue in hopes of having them and their boat ready for the next event. Here's Stevie Morrison on how the weekend schedule plays out.
Well, we have 4 races for the 11 teams today, and then tomorrow we're back for 2 more qualifying races. 10 points are up for grabs for the race winner, all the way down to 1 for 10th. It's 0 for last. Points are accumulated in the qualifying series, and the top 3 teams will head to a winner-takes-all event final. Let's go see the course with Emily.
The City of Sails provides the ultimate racetrack this weekend. At the gun, the 11 teams will blast along to Mark 1 and down to the first gate. With the new T-foils, the speeds will be higher than ever, but manoeuvres will be tricky and taxing on all the crews. The pressure is on the flight controllers to keep things steady and minimise touchdowns. Strategists will have to decide between hitting the shore or staying in the deeper water of the channel to take advantage of the current. But the moment everyone is waiting for is the sprint finish straight towards the superfans in the grandstand.
All right, thank you very much, Emily. And there are the 11 teams that will be participating today in Auckland. Remember, France unable to go. We hope to have them back in Sydney. Right now, we check in with a 4th member of our broadcast team down in the water, Olympic silver medalist Lisa Darmanin.
Things are looking great down here, Todd. The forecast is around 17 kilometres per hour, gusting to about 22 kilometres per hour from the Norries, but I am expecting that to build throughout the afternoon. I know we all want to see. The F50 is equipped with their 24-metre all-purpose wing, and as we heard, those new T-foils will be on the boat today. It's a little bit calmer out here that we've seen in practice, so the teams are looking pretty locked in with these new foils, but lots of gusts and lulls out here to navigate. The water is fairly flat, but is a little bit choppier towards that big grandstand we see on the shore. So it's going to be fantastic racing today out here. A little bit tricky, but a lot of fun.
All right, Lisa, much more from you as the day progresses on, as we are under 90 seconds to go until the first race of the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix Auckland and the Rolex Sail Grand Prix Championships. As all the teams now get themselves into position, this will be interesting, Stevie, because over the course of the last 2 days in practice, we split the fleet up in groups of 6 and 5. Now it's all 11, and that is a very tight course.
Well, yeah, and what catches my eye is how short that first downwind leg is. It's going to be compressed at the bottom.
So 1 minute to go until we take off here, racing for the first time in beautiful Auckland.
Well, the first thing, again, we look at the start line, that red line on the middle of our screen there, the blue pole position spot there. That suggests the optimum place to start to get yourself to Mark 1 the first. And we can see that's going to be all the boats battling for that end. Can you find some space? New Zealand, top of screen. They look really late here on board the Kiwi boat. They're well out of position right now. Denmark, upwind end of the line. They look like they might find some space. It's the United States manoeuvring at the back of the line.
And here we go, 20 seconds before the start of race number 1 in New Zealand.
Germany perfectly positioned right now. At the moment, the pole predictor sits with Canada, but I don't see any space for them. New Zealand will miss this start and be a little late. They're going to have to come from behind. Watching now as Switzerland and Great Britain out the middle of the line, but Germany's still well positioned. Watch for the line to turn white. We're racing now.
Italy.
Oh, penalty Italy. That's an incident from
Australia.
The Australians early on, but it's Spain, Great Britain and Switzerland in a drag race towards Mark 1, and the Spanish hold the inside. They should lead from here at Mark 1.
As they approach mark number 1 in the first race of the day, it is the defending champions from last season, Spain, out in front. They'll grab the whole shot, the first one here in Auckland.
Lovely job on that first length. The Rolex sprint leader there, Spain, and that's a big lead to take out of Mark 1. Great Britain first to manoeuvre. How well do the teams handle these new foils?
Diego Botín, they have a nice lead. There you see Dylan Fletcher, Emirates GBR, currently sitting in second place. Stevie, the penalty still on the mast of Red Bull Italy.
Yeah, it's an incident between Italy and Australia, and you can see the Australians are still well behind Italy. Italy have got to get behind Australia, and they've got to do it quick, otherwise that penalty will keep growing. Left-hand side of screen, United States and New Zealand, they're in the race, but they're a long way back as we see Spain. Look at that, they're just stretching away here.
So it's Spain and Emirates GBR out in front. Look at the speeds approaching 65 kilometers an hour, and then it's everyone else. So the battle is on between the Brits and the Spaniards.
Oh, it looks like a football stadium there, that grandstand in the background. Huge crowd in there, and it's Great Britain that have judged this downwind leg the best. They've managed to cut the corner on the Spanish, and they lead at gate 2.
At the DP World Gate, gate number 2 here on the first race of the day. Yesterday, Stevie, everyone was going to the other side. How much of a change do you think it is what we saw in the conditions yesterday?
Yeah, well, I think that's Ian Murray race geometry. It's interesting how he's laid it. He's taken the boats right into the grandstand there. And we see Spain have manoeuvred away early. Nice gust of wind that Great Britain and Spain are in, and these two boats have a big, big lead. I think what's evident out there on the racecourse already, it's very gusty. You can see those dark patches of water somewhere near Switzerland and Australia right now, but if you end up in a light bit, as the fleet did, you lose a lot of distance very quickly.
Remember, it's all about getting points over the course of the fleet races before the big final on Sunday. 10 points for the winner, none for last place, 1 point for 10th, and right now it is Emirates GBR out in front, Spain in second, the Germans out into third place, with Italy now absolving that penalty. They sit in fourth and the Australians in fifth.
Yeah, they managed to do a good job of taking that penalty. I like where Spain are heading. They're definitely sailing back towards some good wind. You can see the wind's rotated towards that Auckland shoreline there. Spain are going to start to accelerate, potentially putting a challenge in on the Brits. Big breeze in that top corner where Spain are heading to. Good news for Spanish fans, but the Kiwis, right-hand side of our screen, they're still way at the back of the pack. A lot of work to do for the hometown favourites.
The winners of the first event in November down in Dubai, New Zealand sits in 10th place. They just moved ahead of the Americans. Now they sit in 9th behind Switzerland. Australia has moved up a place or two. They're still behind Denmark, but it's still Emirates GBR and Spain, the class of the fleet right now, going 1 and 2.
There we go, Dylan Fletcher and Ian Jensen on board the British boat, working hard to put the clamps on the Spanish boat. Sailed the boat close to the wind. They're putting disturbed air onto the Spanish now, so slightly slowing the Spanish, but both these boats, well, it's a battle royale between these two. Expect a split at the top here. Could well see a right turn for the Spanish to try and find wind away from Great Britain. There go the Spanish.
So that could be the move of the match at gate number 3. They'll make their way back down. Wind conditions have stayed relatively same, but look at the speed difference between Spain and Emirates GBR.
Yeah, really hard to do that extra maneuver at the top there, especially I think with these new foils and these gusty conditions, the teams aren't as slick as possible. One thing to hold on to today, I think, Todd, it's really, really hard to do the basics well. So you've got to prioritise doing the manoeuvres well in good wind. Maybe Spain rushed that a little bit there.
And this one gets a little tricky as well. You've got Emirates GBR and Spain making their way down the course, the rest of the fleet coming up the course, so you got to deal with priority and oncoming boats.
Yeah, first world problem for those leaders, really, though. That's take that in this huge lead that they've got themselves there. Italy in third, what a good performance. They've had a last-minute substitution, and it's the New Zealand team. Well, they're struggling at the moment, but they are, as always, moving through the fleet, and there's still another few legs to do. We're only at the halfway stage of this race. Opportunity still for Burling & Co. to find a magic path through the fleet.
Red Bull Italy, Ruggero Tita, the driver, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 4-time NACRA world champion. There is definitely skill and talent on board that boat. We just haven't seen it in practice or at the first event, but here they are sitting in a top 4 position. The Germans, presented by Deutsche Bank, now sitting in third.
Well, the Italians as well, Spain, they're picking up an unforced error, really. They pushed a bit wide on the course, trying to maximise that. But yeah, the Italians, they had a last-minute substitution, actually, Todd, with Andrea Tessi, the flight controller. I don't know if he got injured or something happened, but Jason Saunders from the French team, French obviously, unfortunately, not racing here this weekend. Jason stepped in, quite experienced as a flight controller, and maybe there's a safe set of hands there, that little bit more experience. So yeah, good performance so far from the Italians. Germany up to third, and New Zealand slowly working their way through the fleet.
Leg 5 of 7 in the first race of the day here at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix Auckland. As Lisa Darmanin mentioned before we went racing, Stevie, the conditions are near ideal. Sold out, no tickets available. The grandstands are full and the sun is out. This is a picture-perfect day, and what a way to come to the city of sails.
Good angle there. Pretty soft down here.
Yeah, I mean, you should be enjoying this if you're on board that Emirates Great Britain boat. Out in front, they're able to take the first choice. Spain, you could see Spain try and force something a lap ago. They went the wrong way. They suddenly lost 200-300 metres. Oh, tight moment between Germany and Spain. All fair, all clear, it looked like there, and Germany could well be up to third here. Got a chance to dive inside the Italians. Italy will be quick on the exit from the mark.
Coming up. On the outside.
So the Germans have priority once they're in that circle first, and now once they get in the overlap, Germany will have to give the Italians space.
They've done that, they've manoeuvred away. Look at the fans on the shoreline there. They'll be loving what they're seeing with that little manoeuvre. Rockwell, Denmark, North Star, Canada, they come charging in. This left turn is quite favoured. It means it's really forcing the teams to go that way. Ian Murray's enticing the crews in towards the crowd on the shoreline.
Look at that view, stadium seating there. We've got little mini duels taking place all over. You saw the Italians and the Germans getting together, and now you see North Star Canada and Rockwell, Denmark in close quarters. And here come the Kiwis. That'll get the fans out of their seat.
Oh, and look at that Denmark. Remember, Denmark are sitting in 5th right now. So if New Zealand could somehow get back to 5th position from here, what a performance that would be. And there is chance. Look at this. Great Britain, well, they're well out in front. Just one downwind leg to go. This should be a cakewalk for the British team. Spain in 2nd, but back in the pack, it's all to play for. I'd say 3rd all the way back to 7th is wide open.
Emirates GBR and their new driver, Dylan Fletcher. Remember, they have made a change on that team. They went from Giles Scott and, of course, some legends on that boat prior to that. But the Olympic gold medalist Dylan Fletcher has really shown his mettle in the last 2 stops, not only here, but in Dubai.
Yeah, and Dylan really likes these shifty conditions. Same with Ian Jensen. You know, they're both very good windy, shifty weather conditions. They got Hannah Mills, of course, they're doing the strategy. She'll love being able to have her head out the boat and find the breeze that's on this course. And as soon as it is as gusty and shifty as that, there's just huge opportunity out there, really. You can see right now Italy in 3rd place, sailing well. Clearly, Ruggero Tita enjoying these conditions.
Emirates GBR and Spain 1 and 2, they're making their way down the course, and then the rest of the fleet. Stevie, can't say enough, though, about Dylan Fletcher stepping into this situation, did such a good job coming in, and you fill in for a guy like Ben Ainsley, and that is not something that's easy to do.
No, he's come in, you know, Ben Ainsley, then Giles Scott in that situation, but Dylan's a, you know, Olympic gold medalist in his own right. He was in season 1 in the F50, so he's not a sort of a total newcomer to it. He's got that experience, as we can see there. He swapped sides, Hannah Mills on the wheel after the manoeuvre, and he sets up. He's, yeah, very experienced on it, and he'll just be loving these gusty, shifty conditions. It's just like the Northampton Lake where he grew up sailing.
Of course, the Brits finishing in second in the first event, which was the Emirates Dubai Sail Grand Prix in November, and here they come in race number 1. The winning Emirates moment goes the way of Emirates GBR. Dylan Fletcher and company take the win in Auckland.
There we go. Imagine if the Kiwis win, there'll be a little bit more excitement in that crowd than there was for that one there. But yeah, it's of course we know it's about winning the last race, not the first race, but what a great start.
So now the battle is on.
Umpires, penalty Denmark, relative Australia, port tack boat not keeping clear.
Oh, Denmark, that's going to be costly for them. That shows potentially their little place change for New Zealand. New Zealand moving up past Canada. They put a manoeuvre in. Italy a third. Germany for... Oh, Canada spin the boat. They've got to keep clear of Germany there. Oh, that was a tight manoeuvre by the Canadians. Was it too close? Wow, that was tight.
And while that's taking place, you've got Diego Botín, the winners of last year's overall series. They will claim a second place, so 9 points go the way of the Spanish. Remember, it's all about being a top 3 boat after all the fleet races to get you in to the final on Sunday.
Yeah, those 2 boats just had a great chance to get away. Diego will be happy with that. I mean, he won't like the fact that Dylan, they've been long-time rivals in the 49er class. He won't like the fact that he got away. But as we see now, as we head downwind, right now it's New Zealand that have found good wind. Germany and Canada have fallen off the foils, so showing us 4th, it would be New Zealand. They didn't even make it to the start on turn. Incredible from Burling. How does he find this many overtakes? Now he's hunting down the Italians. Can Ruggiero Tito keep him behind? They've got a good position at the moment. Carl Langford, their experienced wing trimmer on that boat. But he was worried about sailing the boat just a few days ago. He's going to love where he's coming right now.
Just 2 legs ago, the Black Foils of New Zealand were sitting in 9th place, Stevie. Now they're sitting in 4th with a possibility of picking up yet another spot if they can reel in Red Bull Italy with less than 190 meters separating them.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty daunting for the rest of the fleet, isn't it? I mean, you know, the Kiwis, we said it's hard to do the basics well, and I mean, turning up and being at the start line on time, I'd put in the category of basics. They didn't do that, but now they're coming back through the fleet at a rate of knots here. Really going well. Up to 4th, Australia 5th. And it's been a disastrous last downwind for Canada. We saw that rush manoeuvre. They were in 4th for that, put Italy off the foils, but they should be round this final mark.
So the Italians on the last leg heading home, they will take 3rd. And now you've got 3 boats converging here on this last mark. It's going to be New Zealand, it looks like, that's going to hold off their rivals, the Aussies. So they will go 4 and 5 with New Zealand and Australia, and the USA trying to figure out how to get around this with 1 extra maneuver.
Yeah, well, the USA have done well here. They were right at the back as well, and there's a famous saying in England, it's not all over till the fat lady sings, and I think that could be the name of the game here, because there's opportunities all the way around the racetrack. As we see the United States just hold on the inside. Rockwool Denmark, they're going around the outside. Can Sehested accelerate that Danish boat and come back at the Americans before the finish? Here comes Canada on the foil still. They look to head over the top. It's really tight as we come in here. What can Taylor Canfield do? He's going to have the right of way. Canada must keep clear. Canada must keep clear.
Taylor Canfield turns in and forces Giles Scott to take evasive measures, but that opens the door for Rockwool Denmark and possibly Germany.
It's all tight on the line. Rockwool Denmark, can Germany find a way through?
Umpires, penalty Canada, relative USA. Not giving room at the mark.
Canadians didn't turn out enough, and a penalty on the USA. Oh, it's going to be interesting when this one comes out in the wash. Do Germany get past the United States? I'm not sure if they quite did on the finish. We'll find that out when we get into the details. Oh, Canada was so close to that good result, and then coming in at the back of the pack here, Brazil and Switzerland. Well, they're going to be disappointed with their start to things here. Mubadala Brazil, brilliant in practice yesterday, but struggled in this first race.
Well, what a race. It is now complete, and provisional results, it's Great Britain that gets the win with Spain and Italy, the top 3. Emily Nagel, plenty to digest from the start.
And it was GBR that were in control from the very beginning. We can see here they're killing some time, sailing down towards the line, which opened that gap there for the Spanish to have a good start as well. But it was Spain, GBR and Switzerland that all hit the line at 55 kilometers an hour and gave them a beautiful lead into Mark 1 there. Spain and GBR led that battle downwind. And because of how light it was at the top gate, it actually made it really tricky for the rest of the teams in the pack. Here, that first maneuver away, a bunch of them just fall off of the foils, and that was a golden moment for GBR and Spain, who were just able to continue to extend their lead. That split at the top mark, super costly for the Spanish team, who ended up having to go outside of the boundary. Small error, but they still got that second place finish, which is going to be brilliant for the leaderboard.
Emily, I know you like the numbers. How about this number? 96% for Spain in Emirates flight time.
Brilliant for them. A lot worse for some of the others.
Still to come, one more race when we come back to the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix Auckland. So the fans continue to make their way into the stands after an exciting first race. They'll be looking for their home team to do much better, but a great save by Pete Burling and company as the Kiwis finish in top 5 in 4th place. Auckland is a gateway to all that New Zealand has to offer. It's packed full of adventure and scenery that will take your breath away. From the history, culture, food, wildlife, and endless beauty. Whatever the season, it's always a good time to visit New Zealand. What a day here in Auckland as SailGP makes their first visit to the City of Sails. Well, the Rolex SailGP Championships roll on with our second race. We are scheduled for 4 today, and after an exciting first race, really looking forward to this second race, Stevie. I think everyone's kind of maybe getting more used to the congestion that we saw, because on practice days we split the fleet in 2 groups. Now it's all 11 going at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tight course, isn't it? But in these gusty, shifty conditions, that sort of does tend to stretch the fleet out a bit. It means that, you know, if you find the breeze, you can jump away. Obviously, if you find the holes in the breeze, then you get stuck back behind. So it's tight here. 37 seconds to go. The optimum place to start again towards that downwind end of the start line. Look how congested it is. Switzerland, Great Britain, Germany, Denmark, Spain and Italy all fighting for that spot. Out the back, it's New Zealand at the moment, but Burling will be looking for a good gap here at the top of the line. Brazil, left-hand side of our screen. They've got some space. Can they manage to make things happen? Right now, the Rolex pole predictor sits on the Kiwi boat. They have found a gap through the middle. 10 seconds to go. It's all about the acceleration. Canfield on the United States looks well positioned, but he's going to have to go fast from that top end of the line. Watch for the line to turn white. We're racing here. What a start from Canfield. He's absolutely lit up coming into Mark 1 here. He's so fast on board that boat. They should be able to lead round Mark 1, and Fletcher on Emirates Great Britain, he's chasing him down again.
Prix is quite right at the moment, 65.
So at mark number 1, it is US SailGP Lady Liberty leading the way on this second race here in Auckland.
Oh, they just did a great job of finding space there, Todd, and now they have got space. They're the Rolex Sprint leader at Mark 1, and they've got space to set themselves up for this first manoeuvre. It's got to have to be smooth.
The question is, can Taylor Canfield in the US do exactly what Emirates GBR and Spain did in the first race, Stevie? Get away from the fleet, check out, and get the win.
Just going to come out for bad air.
Well, I think it's got no excuse not to from that position. You know, they're well ahead here. They've got every advantage that they could hope to have. They've manoeuvred nicely, but Tom Slingsby's breathing down their neck.
Let's talk about tactics here. I want to go left straight in. That's short to boundary that way. Are you still okay with that? I don't want to do
Mike Buckley and Taylor Canfield don't seem to be naturally straight on the same pace there. I think that left turn's been working well at the bottom before, but as Taylor alludes to, you're going to get right in towards the crowds very quickly, so you've got to do a manoeuvre soon. I think they'll be happy with that, though.
And how about those crowds? Sell out today in Auckland, and it's not even Championship Sunday. That comes tomorrow. And right now, the Americans will make the turn at the DP World Gate at the bottom of the course. And Tom Slingsby, as you said, Stevie, hot on their heels. So it's USA, Australia, Emirates, GBR, and Italy, your top four.
Yeah, and Emirates Great Britain, they've manoeuvred away to the other side of the course. I think they're going to pay an extra penalty distance-wise early on, but they will have space as the leg goes on. Nice manoeuvre, look at that right-hand side of screen. That hull stayed out the water. Perfect foiling tack by the Australians there. They're up and running, and they'll be putting the pressure back on the United States team. But Canfield well positioned at the moment, and it's Italy in fourth again. Great first day of racing for Rudgy Tito and his team.
And hit it, Jules.
Good pressure here, but light at the boundary.
Trying to keep fast-ish here.
And the running theme, Stevie, seems to find speed and keep it fast.
Yeah, I think on a day like this, you've got to work out what your priorities are in terms of your decision-making. I think for me, the decision-making would be, can I find the darker patches of water, the gusts of wind? If I stay in the gust of wind, I'm going to have a lot more boat speed. If you remember these foiling boats, Todd, if you can find maybe 1-2 kilometers an hour more wind speed,
right,
that's potentially 5-6 kilometers an hour more boat speed. So it's just such a priority to find that, and then once you've got the wind, then think about the angle you're sailing and minimize the distance.
And like race number 1, the Kiwis, the hometown team, find themselves in a bit of a hole. They were 9th in leg number 2 in race number 1. Here they are 9th on leg 3 of race number 1. They would finish the first race in 4th place, so a lot of work to do for Pete Burling, the winners of the first event in Dubai.
I think all the way and then a little H1 out.
Great shot here of those T-foils on the front of the boat there. These new T-foils, we got high speed, and what that means is you get that extra boat speed. We come and look into the Oracle Cloud there, bottom left-hand side, and that gives us an idea of what the wind speed's like. Well, Great Britain right now, look at that. They've got an awful lot more boat speed on the British boat at the moment. They're near the Auckland shoreline, going well, but it's still Australia and the United States battling for the lead. Advantage Slingsby at the moment. He's putting the pressure on Canfield and co.
And Taylor Canfield's had enough of that. He makes the turn early. So it's Australia who has inherited first place. US SailGP sits in second. Red Bull Italy in a top 3 position again, and then Emirates GBR. And then we get a first look at Rockwell, Denmark. They have now moved into the top 5.
Crucial for United States to get around this gate with no more maneuvers. They have done it. Canfield's judged it well. They'll hold the lead. Should be able to stretch away. Does the Australian follow? Yes, he does. And it's Emirates Great Britain up to 3rd.
Down, softening it away now.
And that's saying something, Stevie, when you can yield a lead to Australia and someone like Tom Slingsby, a 3-time winner in the league, and then get it back, you're doing something right.
You're doing a pretty good job. It's what we call a paper lead, though. The Australians were in the lead on paper, but strategically, United States still had control of the situation right now. Now things have opened up. That's where we're going to see the tactics come into play. Great Britain move away early. Has he found more wind?
And maybe H1 here.
H1, that's not a good sound on the downwind leg. United States right-hand side of screen, they're off the foil. Oh, and there's a big gust of wind on board the US boat. Have a look at it. Oh, they plug it. That could be a huge problem. That boat's going to be full of water right now. They're going to struggle to re-accelerate. What a mistake there, falling off the foil through the jibe on the downwind leg. Disaster for US fans. What a mistake.
So thousands of pounds of water in those holes. You heard it, Stevie. Taylor Canfield calling H1. Dropping one hole in the water, and then it all went south.
Well, as soon as I heard H1, it's like, oh no, you can't do that on a downwind leg in this breeze. Here we see the maneuver. They get a little high. Oh, and then they fall off the foils. They just stall things, and there's a big gust coming to hit them right now, and that powers the boat up. Several extra 100 horsepower of energy going into the boat, and oh, they couldn't deal with that acceleration. Disaster here. What happens? Just do it in a bit of a light spot, and they try and fly the boat a bit high. It comes lifted up at the front, and then it's off the foil. No good there for the US team. What a disaster. Still, luckily, a lot of race left here for them to get through it, but they're going to be disappointed with that. As we can see at the bottom, Emirates Great Britain, I think they're chasing round behind the Australians. And Ruggiero Tito on the Italian boat, where have they found this form from?
Fine. Up. You want to nearly tackle right now?
Diego Botín and the Spaniards making their way down the gate, the DP World Gate at the bottom of the course. 7 legs on this second race. We're scheduled for 4 races today.
Yeah, when you can see there, Denmark are taking a left turn, and they're definitely sailing towards good wind on that side of the course. You can see that dark patch there as we see United States. Well, they're right at the back of the pack now, as are New Zealand, the hometown team. They're really struggling out here today. It's not the normal slick performance that we're used to seeing from Pete Burling, Blair Tuke and the team. Really surprising to see. Right-hand side of ski in Rockwell, Denmark. Have they found something good? How's the manoeuvres on this Kiwi boat?
That's Rockwell there.
I think what's quite an interesting thing with these T-foils, see on that left-hand side, at the bottom of our screen there on that hull, that's the new T-foil. So it's a high-performance foil. It means the boats are faster, but the handling isn't quite as easy. And new flight controller Leo Takahashi got a lot to take on. And of course, it's got the potential to level the playing field a bit, these new foils. And maybe the Kiwis are struggling to adapt to this new foil format.
Angle there for a sec. Your head up. Nice.
Right, pace, pretty short on boundary.
Okay, well, they've split towards the other side of the course. They'll be trying to find that extra bit of breeze and rescue as many points as they can. A 10th at this stage of the regatta is not the end of things, but oh, it's a bit of a problem potentially. There's not that many races to work your way back into the event. And with teams like Australia, Great Britain and Italy stretching away and consistently doing that, could be a problem.
So you wonder how big of a loss that was for the Americans. They were in first place. They have dropped back to 9th place. The Australians now have taken over the lead. Emirates GBR, the winners of race number 1, they sit in 2nd, Red Bull Italy in 3rd, and Spain now up to 4th, 1 position ahead of 5th, and Rockwell Denmark.
Todd, I think I said it in race 1, it's very hard to do the basics right on a day like today. And the manoeuvres, everyone in the crowd, everyone at home watching will think, oh, just doing a jibe, turning the boat downwind. That's one of the basics, that's a fundamental sailing skill. It's not that easy in these boats. And USA got caught out, changing the wind, miscommunication, whatever happened. And we're about to see the Australians set up for their manoeuvre. Can they get this one smooth? There we go, Chris Draper, he sets up, crosses the boat, foils down. Slingsby turns the boat. There you go, respect the basics. Beautiful manoeuvre by the Australians. Great Britain follows suit behind. They're trying to cut the corner. Another slick manoeuvre, but you've got to respect the basics.
So there is the finish line in the distance. They'll have that gate in the center of your screen. Then they'll make the left-hand turn and head in front of the fans. And it looks like Australia's going to get it done, Stevie. Remember, they finished 5th in race number 1. So a first place here certainly helps their cause. And you said this to me earlier. There's nothing better than winning if you're Australian, but even better, winning on Kiwi waters.
Yeah, I'm sure Slingsby will like that. One turn here, just a few seconds until he crosses that finish line. And he'll like doing that in front of the home Kiwi fans.
And your Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Australians. Tom Slingsby and company get the win here at Auckland in race 2. Emirates GBR will finish in 2nd.
That Emirates winning moment's going to feel pretty good. They've looked fast in training, the Australians. They seem to have adapted pretty well to these new foils. But talking about adapting well to these new foils, Dylan Fletcher, Luke Parkinson, let's not forget about Luke flying the Emirates Great Britain boat. And of course, if you've got a tactician, strategist like Hannah Mills at the back of the boat, you've got a pretty solid setup there. Italians, though, let's have a little word for Rigitito, though. Struggled in Dubai, but 3rd place finish there. Ahead of season 4 champion Spain, but Spain consistently there. They're not going away. They're not making too many mistakes.
And then there's a big gap, so you've got Australia, the winners, Great Britain in 2nd, Italy in 3rd, and Spain in 4th. And it looks like Rockwell Denmark's going to hold on for a 5th. 1 place better than they did in race number 1 when they finished in 6th.
Yeah, they've done a nice job there. And USA have chipped away. They're showing us 6th at the moment. We'll see where they get to on the finish. New Zealand's 8th, struggling here. New Zealand are going to start to need to win races after here. They've got to be in the first few from here. USA have done a nice job of pulling their way back through after that poor manoeuvre where they've had to do a bit of a reset. Done a nice job of that 6th. Canada 7th, and it's going to be New Zealand back in 8th. This is not what we're used to seeing from Burling and Tuke. What can they find to try and pull themselves back up in these next races today?
Go on board here.
So Taylor Canfield and US SailGP do finish in 6th place. Stevie, it could have been a lot worse. They were in 1st. We saw the incident with a big dip. They dropped back to 9th. They salvaged 3 points, so they're now back into 6th. So they have a 7th and a 6th in 2 races so far.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed, but I think easy for the wheels to come off in a situation like that. So again, if you look at the positives, they've done a nice job of resetting.
On the job. Yeah, it's just like we're pitch, sometimes you end up in the worst spot there, so. GBR look good.
He's just talking, there you go, GBR look good. I agree with you, Pete. They do look like they're sailing the boat well, but they're just talking about that manoeuvre after Mark 1. They were well positioned at Mark 1, again, on paper, but strategically they were struggling. So when they came to do their first jibe, their first turn after Mark 1, they were way out of position, and they went from about 4th all the way back to 10th. They were just in no wind, in a vacuum behind the whole fleet.
Switzerland and Sebastian Schneider, they'll come through in 10th place. Germany still out on the course with some problems. So Germany, presented by Deutsche Bank, will have their crew come on board and see if they can get their situation dialed away and get ready for race number 3. Well, a lot to unpack as well on race number 2, Emily.
And what a start that was for the US team. Now, they own that bottom third of the line, with Brazil being slightly late, which meant they were able to hit the line at 70 kilometers an hour and just slingshot themselves towards Mark 1. Now, Australia, surprisingly, didn't have the best start. They were doing half that boat speed, but they accelerated really quickly to be able to get to Mark 1 in second as well, which really paid to their advantage, because while the US looked absolutely brilliant for the first half of that race, they made a few too many errors that just left that door open for the Australian team to take that win by miles. This is that moment there, that little bow down, filled the boat with water and just so costly. With these new T-Fulls, the teams are doing 60 kilometers an hour upwind. So if you touch down in a maneuver, you are doing half of that boat speed. 97% fly time for the Australians there. So no wonder they took that race win.
97%, not too bad. We saw Spain do something along that same lines in race number 1. Let's crunch some numbers, Emily, because there's a lot to digest out of the Oracle Cloud.
And here those numbers are for you. We can see there, Australia, that 97% fly time. But most importantly, look at that distance sailed by the Australians, 7.9 kilometers, compared to the Brits, who sailed a much faster average boat speed, but 0.7 kilometers further distance. So we can see the different modes that these teams are sailing to try and stay in the best pressure, but keep the boats on the foils as much as possible.
And we have now a chance to go down on the water and talk with the driver for Australia, the 3-time champions, and Tom Slingsby. Tom, great race for you guys so far today. Consistency, top 5 in race number 1. You win race number 2. What is the biggest difference out there, and how big of a difference are those T-foils making?
Guys, can you hear me there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a unbelievably tight, tricky racetrack, and so just keeping your nose clean and not having any majors is pretty important. You got to avoid the bunches, because you get caught in the bunch, everyone slows each other up.
All right, Tom, we appreciate the time. Good luck on race number 3. So the Australians go 5th in race 1. They go number 1 in race number 2, and they will be ready to go on race 3, as we're scheduled for 4 races today on the first day of this in Auckland. Let's take a look at the results thus far. Remember, it's 10 points for a win, so Emirates GBR leads the way with 19. Then you have Australia and Red Bull Italy sitting on 16 points, even as well with Spain. Remember, you want to be top 3 on Sunday on the last race to get into that big grand final. And we now get set for race number 3. This is the pre-start dance. All the boats have to get in that box, all 11 of them, as we go under 90 seconds to go. Stevie, one boat I do not see out there right now, though, is Germany, presented by Deutsche Bank. Remember, they had issues at the end of race number 2.
Yeah, left-hand side of our screen, there they are, still on the chase boat, and I know the shore crew's working hard, hoping to get them back for race 4, but they won't be taking part in this 3rd race, unfortunately. A few hydraulic issues on board the boat, so that'll need some careful work done.
Got it, yep. Lots of time here. I'm going down.
And the US SailGP team also reported some issues on their boat, but they are there, center of your screen, ready to participate, looking to bounce back in a big-time way. The Americans had a great race, too, until their incident. They've got a 7 and a 6 on their table, with 2 races still to go today.
Yeah, they did, started well. I think they found space on that start line, so it's can we see space on this start line? It's very clustered at that bottom end of the line. Italy and Brazil nicely positioned right now.
Under 30 seconds to go before the start of race number 3. We're scheduled for 4 here at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix in Auckland.
Well, Spain there making a move on Australia and the United States. They're going to struggle to find it. The pole predictor has Denmark in the optimum position. Right now it goes back to Peter Burling's New Zealand boat out the back of the fleet. He's going to be fast from there, but will he find a gap? He's up and foiling. All about acceleration from here. I like Great Britain's position in the middle of the line, but can they get it up and running? Italy foiling through. Start line goes. Switzerland fire like a bullet from a gun at the top end of the line. What acceleration from Seb Schneider. Can he get over the top? He's going to need to be fast. Spain and Australia on the inside. I think Schneider will lead, but in the pack, it's going to be really tight at Mark 1.
So here we go, mark number 1, race number 3, one more race after this one, and it is Sebastian Schneider and the Swiss out in front. They get the whole shot, and they need a win in a big-time way after finishing 11th and 10th in the previous 2 races.
Nice rounding there by the Australians as well in second on the inside here. You can see as soon as you're back in the pack, you're very compromised. New Zealand and United States again out of position after that start, and in a big gust of wind, Switzerland have gone away. Cool there from Maud to AO saying, let's keep it simple. That's easier said than done, but I love the idea. That's what you've got to try and do from here. Minimise manoeuvres, minimise mistakes. Campbell James there asking Cooper Dressler to go hard on the handles to help him pull that big wing sail in, and Switzerland are well set up for gate 2, anticipating a left turn here. This course is a little bit shorter this time, Todd.
This is the umpires. Penalty New Zealand relative GBR, not giving room at the boundary.
Hometown fans aren't going to want to hear that. And a little bit of a surprise here as the Swiss opt for the right-hand side at the DP World Gate, gate number 2.
Yeah, well, I can't see a lot of wind out of that left turn right now, so that could be a good call, but potentially just a slightly light wind moment on the whole race course. Switzerland have got a lot of space away from the fleet, and New Zealand and Great Britain, they're out the back. Pressure is already on this Kiwi crew.
Stevie, is that a situation where possibly the coaches who are on shore could have told the Swiss crew, hey, you might want to opt for the right-hand side, we're seeing more pressure?
Well, certainly there's the option for the coaches to talk, so that's definitely a thing. I mean, I don't know how they work it on their team in particular. I think probably easier for the sailors to actually see exactly what's happening on the water. But yeah, maybe they thought we won't make it to that left turn easily. Let's keep the boat going fast, do the extra manoeuvre, and we'll figure things out from there.
Race 3, leg 3 of 7 in this one. Switzerland out in front. Winners of race number 2, Australia sit in second. Nice showing so far from North Star Canada. They're in third, and Rockwell Denmark in 4th, just ahead of Spain in 5th.
Yeah, really, really tight here, and we can see that's tight back in between Italy and Brazil, bottom right-hand corner of our screen on the boundary there, but Switzerland, well, that right turn that they chose was very good here. We're going to look back on board as we see Great Britain and New Zealand. They're sailing towards the boundary. As soon as they enter that boundary, Great Britain are entitled to room, and there we go. Great Britain turns, New Zealand slow to react, and that's what the umpires deemed was enough to be called a professional foul. Penalty New Zealand, costly, have to drop back behind Great Britain. Yeah, just a simple boundary penalty there. A little bit too aggressive from Pete Burling in that moment. And he's sat back in 10th right now. He's got to find his way through the fleet because Australia, well, they're in second, but they were first in the race before. Switzerland, they've had 2 poor races. They've been right at the back for 2 races in a row, but he's showing how they do when they get a little bit of space. Doing a nice job. Good breeze on the racetrack, but they've got an extra manoeuvre to do.
Sebastian Schneider there at the wheel for the Swiss as they approach gate number 3. What a beautiful backdrop as the city in the background here in Auckland as SailGP comes to this part of New Zealand for the very first time.
Yeah, that's some backdrop, isn't it? They're right in the city front there, and we can see they're turning away in a big patch of breeze there. Dark water where Switzerland are. I like where they're going for wind right now. We can see there Australia have been overtaken by Canada. Spain have got the right of way, but I think Australia will get past them just about. So it's been a gain to that Auckland shoreline, and right now, Slingsby's seen that. He's going back to try and get some of the goodies.
So the Swiss and the Aussies opt for the left-hand side as they head back down. You see Spain and North Star Canada, they go to the other side. Looks like Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team will go that side as well.
And coming down, 2-1, coming down.
Oh, Rolex Denmark, he slings it in there. What a manoeuvre for the Danish. Oh, they've been in the middle of the pack all day, the Danes. They'll be looking for a good one, but that little place gained back there could prove really important as we see Great Britain, Brazil, New Zealand bringing up the back of the fleet. They'll be hoping to get back in the race. Wind well rotated to the left here. Straight down the course for Canada, Spain at the moment, and they're potentially putting an overtake on the Aussies.
Look at the speed. Switzerland going 74 kilometers an hour. Canada at just dipping under 60. And here comes Spain. Their speed's still climbing, so they look good. Quick reminder, Germany had a boat issue after race number 2. They aren't able to go in this one. And of course, France's boat not ready in time because of some issues on the main sail.
Australia coming in with the right of way over Canada and Spain here. Spain have got a decision to make. What's Diego going to do? He decides to dip behind and take the left turn. It's really tight in the pack. You see at 70 kilometers an hour. There's only 22 kilometers an hour of wind as we look on the left-hand side leaderboard there. 3 times the wind speed these boats are doing. That's some solid efficiency.
And Stevie, now if you're Brazil, New Zealand, Great Britain, Italy, Denmark, even the USA, you've got to find a way now to start chipping away and picking up 1 or 2 places.
You absolutely have, and I mean that's historically what New Zealand has been their bread and butter, really, that ability to overtake. I think the United States are doing a pretty good job of that actually out there today. We're going to come on board our Oracle Cloud Insights, have a look at the wind speed here, and we can see it's very different across the course. 30 kilometers an hour on Switzerland. Canada sat in nearly 10 kilometers an hour left wind. You've got to try and find those gusts, and at the moment sailing nearly straight up the ladder line. Switzerland, they're also in a left shift. If you can be in wind and sailing less distance, wow, you are absolutely making all the gains. Big gain to Australia, up to 2nd versus Canada.
So Switzerland has a 200-meter lead over Australia. Canada has dropped back to 3rd, then Spain in 4th. Good time as they approach gate number 5 to check in with Lisa Darmana down on the water. Lisa, how have the conditions changed, if any, since our very first race of the day?
Todd, they have picked up a lot down here, so the top end is much higher, so that's why we're seeing those huge accelerations, but it is so gusty, and in those lulls, that is really on the edge of these high-speed T-foils, so it is a really difficult game out here. Also, with such a short race course, it means there's much more dirty air because there's wing wash everywhere across this whole course, so really, really tough out here.
And Lisa, while we've got your attention, they come close to you. Are you seeing a different performance from these boats now with those T-foils? Is it really noticeable?
It is noticeable. I think the manoeuvres are the obvious one. Some people are sticking the landing, some are not. I think today it's fairly flat water, so majority of the teams are doing a really good job, but you can see that they're not quite sure how the boat is going to behave at all times. So it's a difficult balance, but with the flat water, they've got a little bit more time to be able to get the boat locked in, but really impressive by the Swiss team right now. They just had a little stumble, but they've come good.
Oh, and a big gain for New Zealand on that upwind leg. They found that gust of wind. Big shift towards the left. New Zealand have found it. Burling spotted it. Big gain for him and Liv Mackay in the strategy department there. They're up to 6th. They could probably do with another couple of gains on this downwind leg if they can. And another little error from the United States. Splash down. Could lose a couple of places here. Costly little mistake. They'd been sailing so well. And Switzerland, what a performance.
And the Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Swiss. Congratulations to Sebastian Schneider and his crew.
Well, it was a good performance. Australia 2nd, though. The consistency, Slingsby starting to wind it up.
So a 5, a 1, and a 2 on the day for the Aussies. Looks like Canada will come in and hold on to 3rd after their 7th performance in the last race.
Another good one for Canada there. And Rolex Denmark and Spain are going to be tight here. North Star Canada going to get a good 3rd place finish as they come across the line there. And their hometown fans, where they're not fully revved up just yet. Look at this different strategy change here by Nikolai Sehested. Who's going to dip for the line first? Spain get it, but it was so tight. 1 second in it on the line. Nice bit of strategy from Sehested there as we see New Zealand. They're in 6th place.
Well, they did salvage, Stevie, but now they're dealing with a 4th, an 8th, and a 6th.
Yeah, good point save there, Burling said, and that's exactly what that was. He's potentially saved it. They're still struggling. but you've got to fight. Some days it doesn't go your way, and you've got to keep scrapping. And out the back, we can see it's going to be a 7th for Red Bull Italy. Mubadala Brazil come home in 8th. Decent result for those two boats, but Great Britain, well, Dylan Fletcher and that British team looked like they were absolutely unassailable in the first 2 races, but a 9th place finish for them no good. And mistakes are hurting the United States SailGP team right now.
And the USA, after having an incident there in the middle, actually the penultimate leg, they dropped back. They had gotten up to 6th place, Stevie. They're going to finish in 10th, and that's going to be a tough one as the Americans now sit with a report card of 7th, a 6th, and a 10th.
Yeah, I mean, they've sailed well. I mean, another great start there for Canfield, really positioned themselves well. They're just making some little mistakes on their manoeuvres. Like we said, I mean, it goes down like a bit of a broken, boring record there. Those Emirates winning moments that we got for Switzerland in that one, they come from doing the simple things well, and that's just what's letting the US down at the moment.
Well, let's take a look at some highlights at race number 3 with 1 race to go, Emily. No better place to start than the start.
And the start was the first little hint that conditions out there are changing. Here, 3 seconds to go, 2, 1, gun. All the boats are about 20 meters behind the line. Now, Switzerland did have a good start, but in general, all of them sitting a little bit further back, showing just how much more difficult it's getting out there. It's a bit gustier, harder to predict, and because of that, it made life so difficult in that pack, which was great news for Switzerland, who just continued to extend their lead the whole way round the course. While those in the middle, it was like snakes and ladders out there. We saw a lot of crosses, some really costly moments as well for a lot of teams, where just one little touchdown was so critical, really hard to get back up on the foils quickly when there is all of that turbulence from the other boats around you. But also plenty of opportunities. We saw some really strong breeze down that Auckland shoreline.
Yeah. How about the Swiss, though, Emily? I mean, despite the introduction of the T-foils and having 11 boats on this tight course, they are doing a masterful job. And once again, we're talking about flight times. I mean, the gusting winds have been up there. Lisa Darmanin reported it, but the flight times do not seem to be having a problem at all.
No, not at all. For the US team, it was 63%. Not their best of the day, but mastering these conditions of trying to get on the foils.
So 3 races down, 1 more race to go here in Auckland, and here are the standings. Australia, Stevie mentioned, showing their consistency as they go 5, 1, and 2. Then 2 points back are Spain going 2, 4, and 4. Emirates GBR looking good in 21 points. 1 point clear of Red Bull Italy, who's having by far their best of the 2 races they've been since they've been in the league. Then you've got Rockwell, Denmark, New Zealand, Canada, Switzerland, the USA dropping back, and then Mubadala Brazil and Germany, presented by Deutsche Bank, who was unable to race in race number 3. Now able to go down on the water and talk with their driver, Sebastian Schneider. Sebastian, great job for you guys. You go back to that start and no one could touch your speed. Can we talk about the T-foils, and can we talk about how great your crew performed today in that 3rd race?
Yeah, T-foils are good fun, especially when the breeze is up like now. We're going really fast, but yeah, we're still learning. Everybody's still learning, so it's really fine tunings, and we did a good job in that 3rd race. When we were in front, it was also a little bit easier, but yeah, we need to improve a bit when we're in the pack.
And Seb, it's pretty gusty out there. It looks hard to judge the start. Is that because of the new foils, or is that just specific to these conditions?
Honestly, I think it's more the conditions. It's really hard to see the gusts. They're not really coming down the hill sometimes, but yeah, we did a great job in that last start. We came from the back with speed, and it worked pretty well.
Seb, appreciate your time. Good luck to you guys in the final race of the day. That's Switzerland and their driver, Sebastian Schneider. They win race number 3 ahead of Australia and Canada. So as the teams get themselves into position for the 4th and final race, earlier, just moments ago, Lisa Darmanin able to catch up with Pete Burling and the Black Foils.
Pete, it's pretty challenging out here. Obviously, the wind is increasing now. Why is this race course so difficult?
Yeah, it's been pretty challenging. Just big puffs down the left out of the Bayswater side, and then also kind of down the harbour. So it kind of feels like it's been finding its feet a little bit, but feels like it's actually settled down a little bit now and built, so hopefully make for a nice last one.
And getting off that start seems like the key. Struggled so far. That slingshot didn't quite work. So what's the strategy for this final one for the fans?
Yeah, I think we overcompensated a bit. We felt like obviously the first one got a bit out of position, but that second one just a little bit stuck in the middle, and didn't quite get him as much breeze as we thought on that last one. A bit frustrating, but the way the guys are sailing is really pleasing. Picking some good shifts with Liv, and looking forward to putting on a good last one.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Peter. Good luck.
Cheers.
That was just moments ago. Lisa Darmanin catching up with the driver of the Black Foils, Pete Burling, as we come up on 2.5 minutes to go before the fourth and final race of the day. And everyone kind of going through their final debrief. Stevie checking the boat, getting the fluids in there. They haven't got to the start box just yet, but there'll be plenty of time. All right. Whose start do you like the best, and who is doing the best job? We'll get to that momentarily. Let's check in down on the water while we have a chance with Lisa Darmanin.
Todd, it has increased overall, as you heard when I was talking with Pete, but it is still pretty difficult out here. Those gusts and lulls are the real test out here, but the good news is that the German team, they are back on the water, and they're going to try race this one after some repairs on their boat. So great to see them back on this start line.
No, that's great news. So breaking news, Germany, presented by Deutsche Bank, is back in the mix. So we've got 11 boats out there. Remember, France's boat's still undergoing some repairs. We hope to have them back by Sydney, the next event. And there they are, the Germans, looking for a big performance. Stevie, they had a decent start to the day. They finished in 8th on race number 1, and of course last on race 2. So it's good to see them hopefully getting into this thing and maybe mixing it up.
Yeah, I mean, the fans there, look at the number of fans. It looks like a football stadium, doesn't it? It's unbelievable. And they're getting some show put on for them. Breeze is definitely filled in. I can see the patchiness on the water looks a lot less there. I think the British have been starting the most consistently today. Dylan seems to have been finding a little bit of space in the middle of the line, gives you room to accelerate. If you can turn the boat away from the wind, pop the boat on the foils nice and quickly. These new T-foils just want to accelerate, but you need that little bit of space to do that. So can you find space in the last seconds?
USA first into the start box as we go under a minute to go. The fourth and final race of the day here in Auckland at the Rolex SailGP Championship.
But there we go, blue, pole position, suggested place to be. That's the optimum place to start there, is right in the middle to lower half of the line, and we can see the USA are set up well for that, but they're early back. They're there for everyone else to hunt. And here comes the hunter. Burling on board New Zealand is coming in with 35 seconds to go. Expect him to spin the boat fairly soon. Going to try and find a little gap in the middle of the line. He's looking to foil out of here. Great Britain, they're late. Germany late as well. Italy out the back. I think United States and New Zealand well positioned at the moment, but Martini Grail on board Mubadala Brazil. She's moved into a nice position with 17 seconds to go. It's a real tussle at that favoured end of the line, and it's all going to come down to acceleration. But New Zealand, they have the pole predictor on them, and I love their position right now. It's 5 seconds to go to the line. Here he comes, the New Zealand crew winding up. How's your timing, Pete Burling? Perfect out of the middle of the line, and when he needed to deliver, he's delivered. Here they go. Hometown heroes are going to need to be fast to roll over the top of the Swiss and the Australians.
And it's the heavy hitters as they approach mark number 1 in the final race of the day. It's the Kiwis and the Aussies as they reach to see who gets the whole shot, and it will go the way of the Black Foils.
Oh, the sprint leader, Rolex sprint leader there, Peter Burling and the New Zealand crew. Josh Jr. said we've got to get to mark 1 in good shape. Well, that's the way to do it, and now they look relaxed.
It's good, I think. Not bad, is it?
Average phase here, more pressure on boundary.
2, 4 down.
Sailing into a nice patch of breeze here. Now, can they stick a nice smooth manoeuvre now that they're out in front? Looks good for me to go straight into a left turn out of this manoeuvre. New Zealand manoeuvre the boat well. All the boats staying on the foils. That little bit more wind making it easier here. USA again, a little slip up in the manoeuvre. Bottom of our screen. They're off the foils. Another error in the manoeuvre there. They're hurting so bad on that US boat in these manoeuvres.
Oh, the Americans were in a top 5 position, and they will drop back to the back of the fleet. And there you see it once again, the heavy hitters going toe-to-toe. It's New Zealand and Australia 1 and 2, Canada in 3rd, with Brazil in 4th, Switzerland, the winners of the last race. They decide for the other side of the course at the DP World Gate.
Oh, look how much that mistake hurts. They're right out the back here. Spain in 9th, Britain in 8th. This is going to tighten up that top of the leaderboard. Australia, first to manoeuvre away out of that side of the course. New New Zealand stretching things out. There's a little bit more space on that left turn, and Burling will be trying to use that. Keep the boat fast, try and minimise manoeuvres, but on the bottom of the screen here, Switzerland, they're in one of those left-hand shifts that Peter Burling would talked about, sailing nicely up the ladder line in good breeze, gain for Switzerland. But Australia have the right of way, and Schneider has to yield. I think what's interesting there, you heard Seb asking Morgier, you know, is there anyone else there? It's so hard to see the boats on the other side of the course, and what they'd love to see is our SailGP insights there up in the Oracle cloud, and what they'll see is the breeze is quite even across the course right now, not much in it. Australia potentially making a small gain on New Zealand here.
2, 1, we're down. And sending.
Kiwis cool and calm as they approach gate number 3. Peter Burling and company desperately in need of a win here. Remember, New Zealand got a 4th in race number 1. They got an 8th in race number 2. And of course, they backed it up in race number 3 with a performance that had them really thinking that they were better than maybe the results showed it, finishing in 6th.
There you go, nice upwind leg there. Really nice upwind leg by the Swiss. Of course, they won race 3. If they could back it up, that would put them right back in the mix after a disappointing start to the day.
Swiss, one of the 5 teams in the league who have yet to win an event. And they look very good right now. After a win, they currently sit in 3rd place. And here's where the traffic jam starts.
Oh, what are Brazil going to do here? They're going to go wide of the mark. They've lost it. Runners have gone. Oh, and they're in the water.
This is the umpires' penalty, Italy relative Canada. Windward boat not keeping clear.
Oh, Brazil have got to go all the way round here. It's going to be a massive loss for Mubadala Brazil. They're going to have to spin right round. They got themselves way out of position there. Marcini Graham had to avoid the mark. They look well positioned, but they still got to go back through that gate, as we can see Denmark. Rockwool Denmark up to 5th as New Zealand stretch away. Can Burling and Took deliver under pressure? Well, it looks like it at the moment. They needed a race to go well in race 4. Well, it can't go a lot better than a 100, 200-metre lead over the Australians.
And it is the black foils with a great speed as they make the pass through the gate, nearly 80 kilometers an hour, with a huge lead now over the Australians, who won race number 2. Nice parity across the board. You've got Great Britain winning race number 1, the Aussies win race number 2, and the Swiss win race number 3. And it looks like the Kiwis may in fact send the fans home happy here on Saturday, Stevie, with a possible win.
Yeah, look at that. It's tight in the pack, Todd, isn't it? But big game for Great Britain, 9th, and they're up to 4th at the moment. They're going to go in and have a little wave to the fans in the shoreline there, see if they can find some more breeze. But Rockwool Denmark split the course with Great Britain. North Star Canada and Spain, they're so tight. Spain are going to be slow out of this mark. Could be advantage Canada.
Yeah, we're good, Spain. No issues, Abby.
Quick moving race here. This is the last race of the day, leg 5 of 7. New Zealand got the whole shot. They have maintained that lead with Australia hot on their heels.
Yeah, massive moment for the British in this race. To go from right at the back of the pack up to 4th would be absolutely huge. Huge race for New Zealand. Well, in Australia, they just look ominously quick at the moment, don't they? They're sailing so well. Coming up to the last downwind leg, Todd, I can't wait to see what this crowd does. If the Kiwis can hang on, they're going to blow up if they can deliver on this final race of the day.
And how about that Rolex chasing time right now? It's between Australia and New Zealand. Right now it's saying 21 seconds, the difference between the two, as the Kiwis trying to stay away from Tom Slingsby and the Aussies, and a last second change as they will opt for the left-hand side.
Yeah, couldn't quite make it round that. Trying to keep the boat speed in. It's important with these new foils you stay fast. As soon as you get slow, these foils want to let you go. There's a lot of technology involved there. They're having to play the cant. They can move the foil forward and backwards. They can move it in and out to change the power potential on the boats. Do they use the rudder downforce? So many things for these sailors to think about, and so much for them to learn. But right now, well, New Zealand, they're heading straight down the course. This one looks like it's going to be exciting for those Kiwi fans on the shoreline as the black foils look set to deliver.
Massive crowd, sellout crowd today as SailGP comes to Auckland for the very first time after 5 seasons. And how about the Swiss, Stevie? Sebastian Schneider, they got a taste of the Victory Cup and they like it. They're currently sitting in 3rd, top of the fleet.
Well, I was about to start talking about the pressure that would be on them after the first 2 races. 10th and 11th in the first 2 races. And they're backing that up potentially with a 1 and a 3 right now. So, oh, tight moment there. Slingsby just about keeps clear. Oh, and he's in the water. The Aussies are probably going to save it and hang on for that second. But yeah, delivering. Here come the Kiwis.
And as they make their way around the last turn, it will be the Emirates winning moment going the way of the hometown fans. Give it up for the Black Foils. The Kiwis win race 4.
Oh, that's going to look very, very pretty on the overall standings to pull out that Emirates winning moment at the very end of the day there, Burling. His hand goes up, Took's hand goes up, Liv Mackay, she'll be happy, but probably the happiest team of the day is going to be the Aussies, Tom.
Yep. What a report card for the Aussies. They go 5th, tough race in race number 1, then they get the win, then they back it up with a second and another second.
Strong day there. It's tight back in the pack here. Schneider and the Swiss, they get 3rd. Emirates Great Britain, well, that could be huge to salvage a 4th in that race there for Emirates Great Britain. Rottwell Denmark consistent, very, very consistent, but they're going to need to start to sparkle a little bit more if they're going to hope to make Sunday's final.
Denmark and Canada go 5 and 6. And Italy, wow, they've had a strong race as well here at Auckland.
And it's tight on the line. Here come Italy. They're going in at double speed. I think the Italians might sneak the Spanish on the line. Oh, Ruggero Tita. Perfect judgment by Red Bull Italy there. Dives across the line. It was like Usain Bolt giving us a dip finish on the 100 meters there. Spun in front of Diego. And another point game for the Italians.
Germany, after having some mechanical issues and missing a race, they bounce back with a 9th, so good for them. And the USA will finish in 10th with Brazil, who missed that gate up there. Another dip by the Americans.
Oh, it's getting pretty loose out there. It's gusty, it's shifty. Big show for the fans. What a day's racing that was. Brazil, tough race, coming home in last place.
So we now go down on the water, and what a way to finish off the day here at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix Auckland. New Zealand gets the win in race number 4. Pete Burling, Blair Took, guys, congratulations. Pete, what was the difference between the first 3 races and the last race?
Yeah, I think it was Mark 1 position made life a lot easier. Obviously then that last one, the breeze was pretty steady, so it sail around nice and easy from there. But yeah, it's always nice to lead Mark 1 and make life easy to finish out the day.
Pete, just for the fans at home, can you give us an idea how big a change is these T-foils?
It's a huge change, to be honest. Especially today's probably the lighter end of the spectrum, so yeah, definitely it's pretty impressive how far down the range they go. But yeah, a lot to play with, and yeah, Liam and the rest of the crew's been doing awesome jobs. I'm super excited.
Pete, appreciate your time, and what a show you gave the massive crowd here in Auckland. We look forward to seeing you guys race tomorrow. Peter Burling and the Black Foils get the win in race number 4. Let's take a look at the highlights from race 4. Emily, the start again is always key, but this was a great matchup because you've got New Zealand going toe-to-toe with the Aussies.
It certainly was, and the Kiwis stole the show straight from the gun. Look at that space they had around them. They were able to hit the line flying 64 kilometers an hour at the gun. That was 20k an hour faster than the Australian teams there. So no wonder they made it to Mark 1 first. Now, what was really interesting with this race was we had New Zealand, Australia, Switzerland, 1, 2, 3 from Mark 1 all the way to the finish. But the British team, they got to Mark 1 in 9th place, and we see here on that first upwind, this was the start of them sneaking their way up through the pack to eventually take a 4th place finish. A brilliant result for not a great start, but look at the Kiwis fly. They absolutely sent it around the course. 100% fly time for the New Zealand team, finishing in front of the stands and thousands of fans there.
Let's take a look at the standings after 4 races. You want parity? We'll give it to you. 4 races, 4 different winners. Great Britain, Australia, Switzerland, and New Zealand all come away first day race winners. And look how tight it is all the way down to 6th place. Top 3 will make it on into the big grand final here in Auckland, and it's going to be a big day tomorrow. All right, let's talk about the Rolex Precision Sailors of the Day. A lot of names to pick from. Why are these the winners?
Well, today our top driver went to Martini Grail with a top speed of 87 kilometers an hour of boat speed. Morjayet took strategist with the shortest distance sailed, and it was the pair of Blair Took and Leo Takahashi with the top wing trimmer and flight controller.
Well, the Rolex best time start and the high speed of the day. It was a tough day for the Americans, but how about the black foils? The Kiwis come out swinging on race number 4, and they salvage it. Fans on their feet again. A sellout crowd. They get it done, and they deliver on the 4th and final race. Now, remember, 2 more fleet races tomorrow, and of course, we'll have the final. So we hope you enjoyed it. The DP fastest speed of the day, the DP World fastest speed of the day, 87.69. So
Auckland is a stage that athletes dream of. It's a crowd like no other.
Wait, look at the fans on the shoreline.
And it's sailing like you've never seen before.
Like a bullet from a gun, a big gust of wind on board the US boat.
Prepare to witness history and the roar of the crowd.
We like that.
This is the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix, Auckland.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines driven by the world's best, yes. Powered by nature, raw passion, all action. When it takes, racing on water, racing with impact. Give it all, everything, give it all, everything. We are racing. When it takes, we are SailGP.
As the calendar rolls into 2025, SailGP moves deep into the Southern Hemisphere as we once again visit New Zealand. The new year kicks off with a first-time visit to the stunning backdrop of the City of Sails. The local Kiwi sailing fans are getting ready to watch the world's best sailors do battle at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix, Auckland. The breeze has arrived on the stunning waters of the Auckland Harbour, and with the shoreline playing host to some of the biggest crowds we've ever had, the stage is set for a dramatic finale to the first-time visit to Auckland. Super Sunday has arrived with the league showing deep parity after a thrilling first day of competition. As we have discovered, Auckland is an adventure lover's paradise with plenty of activities to keep you busy both on and off the water. As a nation, New Zealand has embraced sailing for decades, and the talent pool in this part of the world is impressive and deep. Plenty more racing today where the top teams on points face off in the event final. Alongside Olympian Stevie Morrison and former world champion Emily Nagel, I'm Todd Harris. Well, Season 5 got off to a spectacular start in Dubai with the Kiwis taking the win. Over the course of the next 11 months, the league will visit 5 continents and 13 iconic sailing locations like San Francisco, New York City, and Taranto, Italy, as well as new locations in Portsmouth, England, Rio, Brazil, and Geneva, Switzerland, before a season champion is crowned in Abu Dhabi in November. Before we get to today's racing, let's recap the action from day 1 in the City of Sails. Quite simply, day 1 in Auckland was epic.
Wait, look at the fans on the shoreline there. They'll be loving what they're seeing.
And it was all on for the flight controllers with the new T-foils.
Big gust of wind on board the US boat. They're off the foils. Another error in the maneuver there. They're hurting so bad.
Huge crowds, mega action, and super tight racing, with underdogs having their time in the limelight.
Nice one, guys.
The surprise performance of the day was from the new team, Red Bull Italy, with the addition of France's wing trimmer Jason Saunders and new strategist Maele Frescari. 2 third places sit them with a chance of the Auckland final. New Zealand took their time to find their form, ending the day with a victory at the relief of the sellout crowd.
Oh, that's going to look very, very pretty on the overall standings.
The Kiwis are in 4th place overall, well within reach to keep the fans happy. Defending champion Spain made the podium after day 1. They were always in the mix, playing it smart and fighting hard for every inch on the racetrack.
Lovely job on that first length. The Rolex sprint leader there, Spain, and that's a big lead to take out of Mark 1.
Emirates GBR started the day with a huge victory in race number 1.
We know it's about winning the last race, not the first race, but what a great start.
Nice work, team.
They sit in 2nd overall after a comeback in the final race of the day, which saw them claw back critical points.
That could be huge to salvage a 4th in that race there for Emirates Great Britain.
Australia had their F50 locked in and the T-foils under control.
It's beautiful maneuver by the Australians.
With top 5 finishes in all 4 races, they topped the leaderboard by 4 points. And no doubt the Aussies will be gunning for the title on Kiwi waters.
And he'll like doing that in front of the home Kiwi fans.
So after 4 fleet races on day 1 in New Zealand, it's the Kiwis' traditional rivals, Australia, that lead with 34 points. Emirates GBR sits in 2nd place and Spain is in 3rd. The host nation Black Bulls are just 1 point back in 4th, and then it's the Italians and the Danes rounding out the top 6. The Swiss, Canadians, and US teams still have a chance to make the final, but they will need to have a much better performance than they did on day 1. Here's Stevie Morrison to break down the day's schedule of competition.
But yeah, we've got 3 more qualifying races for the 11 teams today. 10 points are up for grabs for the race winner, all the way down to 1 point for 10th place finisher. It's 0 for last. The points are adding up. Top 3 teams will head to the winner-takes-all final. So let's head over for Emily to take us around the course.
Day 2 of racing will see even more high-speed action on Auckland Harbour. Yesterday, all race winners were in a top 3 position at Mark 1, making the 22nd drag race after the start critical. Keep an eye at the speeds on the top of the wings because this could be a record-breaking day. With the wind direction further right today, we will see a bigger sea stake, which will add another element of difficulty for all the flight controllers. Expect to see the boats foiling closer to the water as they juggle pushing performance and keeping it safe. With the finish once again only meters from shore, it's going to be an epic day of spectating.
All right, thanks, Sam. As we take a look at the boats getting ready to do battle. Remember, France unable to go this weekend because of technical difficulties on that wing. We hope to have them back in Sydney. Right now, we check in with a 4th member of our broadcast team, Olympic silver medalist Lisa Darmanin, with a weather report and some breaking news.
Todd, the wind is pumping down here in Auckland, around 28 kilometres per hour, gusting well over 36 kilometres per hour. There are some big puffs out here. It has been pretty spicy in training so far. There's been some real thrills and spills, with Denmark actually almost capsizing and saving it at the last moment. And unfortunately, I've just heard that a shoulder injury to the flight controller on Canada means that they are unlikely to race today. So really tough for them. It's choppy out here, it's tough, it's gusty. So it is going to be all on for racing in this reach to Mark 1. Oh, it's going to be fruity.
All right, stay safe down there. Lisa Darmanin, more from you as we continue on, as we get ready for the 5th race here at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix here in Auckland. These are the Rolex SailGP Championships. So this will be race number 5 as we kick off Super Sunday here in Auckland. As been reported by Lisa, plenty of wind, and I think, Stevie, that is something we've been looking forward to ever since season number 4. Put them in these kind of conditions, and these F50s will dazzle you.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty scary pictures of Billy Goodrum there. I mean, let's hope he's okay. And I think I've said this before, but when it's this kind of breeze, Todd, to finish first you must finish is what we've got to do. The guys have got to sail these boats round the course well. Here, Marcini Grail on board Brazil comes diving on the inside with that Brazilian boat. This is going to be a baptism of fire for the 2 new teams, no doubt. Start line, right-hand side of our screen there. That blue triangle, that's the optimum place to be, but you just want to hit the line fast. Kiwis are late to the game here. They're coming into the bottom of the fleet. Will they find a gap at the bottom? I think they will. Spain look to wind it up. The pole predictor sits on board the Australians, and they have a nice gap. I love that position. This is going to be fast and frantic into Mark 1 from here. GBR currently favoured, but can they find a gap through the fleet? 4 seconds to go. Look for that line to turn right. The Australians are lit up. Wow. What a start by Slingsby. Can they handle the speed towards Mark 1? This is going to be frantic.
Just coming back on.
And they are almost 4 wide as they approach mark number 1. This is the first race of Super Sunday, and it is the Aussies who are leading, and they now take the whole shot.
Oh, what boat speed. Will Denmark dive on the inside? They're going to put the bow. Oh, they nearly caught the bow then. The sprint leader, the Rolex sprint leader, lead at Mark 1.
Penalty Italy relative Germany. Windward boat not keeping clear.
Oh, Italy there, they've got to keep clear of Germany being on the outside. The Kiwis a bit in the pack, but they have got control of their first decision here. What a shot this is. These manoeuvres are going to be hard. Can they drop the boards accurately to keep the boat smooth? Australia manoeuvre, and in the pack it's New Zealand. Early to move away from the fleet. They will overtake some boats coming down here.
Well, Stevie, if there was one team you did not want to get the whole shot and check out from the rest of the fleet, it's got to be the Australians. The way they sailed on day number 1, this is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, they've been pretty clinical, and I mean, Slingsby just loves the breeze, doesn't he? Listen to how calm his voice is, despite the fact he's doing 82, 83 kilometres an hour into gate 2 here. New Zealand from back in the pack look to me like they could sneak round 3rd, and that race for the final is pretty crucial.
Gate number 2, the DP World Gate. Now this could get very sporty.
Pretty technical manoeuvre, turning the boats up here. These new T-foils there. You see the British boat, the front of it lifting high in the air. They're proving hard to control. That pitch is Danish there, got the hull flying high. Left-hand side, Italy, first to manoeuvre away, and Spain, they've fallen off the foils. A mistake, both Botin and crew.
Germany gets a little loose as they opt for the right-hand side, still a little loose.
It's so dangerous. That turn up through the breeze is really, really hard there. As we can see right now, Emirates Great Britain, they're coming across fast.
It's windy, man.
Certainly is, Tom. It's looking windy, but they're looking smooth on board that Australian boat. Look at the fans on the shore. They're getting a close-up view of things here. And Australia, take a look at the Spanish. They got very loose. They've been slow speed since the bottom there. They're struggling to control that boat at the moment.
Not a rookie outfit there. The Spanish, the defending champions from season 4, having their issues handling Mother Nature. SailGP powered by nature, and right now there's a lot of power, but out in front it is the Australians who lead the point total right now.
Oh, Lisa, it looks like the Australians have made a gain. Is one side of the course looking more favoured than the other?
Yeah, well, interestingly, I think the left-hand side, so where sort of New Zealand and Denmark are right now, that's flatter, but there is more breeze on the right-hand side. So I think if you can handle this short, sharp chop on the right-hand side, you are going to find more wind. So it's a bit of a balancing act out here, but they seem to be fairly in control.
And Lisa, any benefits to the new T-foils on these boats when the winds are this high?
I think they're all just learning how the forces work on this boat. We talk about cant, which is how wide the foils can go in, and that's really when you're doing those turn-ups where we saw everyone a bit out of control. You know, that's the new thing to learn how to manage the flight of that. And also when they're dropping the boards before a manoeuvre, that's a big extra force of lifts, which is really throwing the flight controllers off.
All right, a lot of this is just about limiting your maneuver, Stevie. You saw right there, Emirates GBR throwing in an extra maneuver, and Australia able to go straight in.
Yeah, they did, and look, it's tight in the pack here. Germany have made a big gain back on board New Zealand. New Zealand have to dip behind. High pressure move. And they're putting that water over the boat. The Kiwis aren't looking very fast at the moment. Plenty of work for the New Zealand team to do. They're still in the pack. Germany, they've had the rights on the inside. It's going to get messy for Brazil. Gate 3 is really tight.
Absolute signaler to the top of the course as the Brazilians get through, and watch the Swiss. They'll have to thread the needle behind Spain, which they barely get done.
Nice manoeuvre there by Marcini Grail on board Brazil. It looks pretty calm. She'll be used to these from the 49er days. Respect that bear away as they do a great job. Rockwool Denmark in 3rd, chiding down in a moment. The Australians are off the foils, top of our screen there. They got too high. It's choppy on that side of the course is what Lisa told us. And have a look here. Foiling time, well, it was 89%, but Great Britain, they're moving away and they're looking well set for gate 4, but more importantly, they're keeping it foiling that little bit more than the Aussies.
So after a great start, it is now Emirates GBR, their driver, Dylan Fletcher, Olympic gold medalist, taking over for a legend in Ben Ainsley, and those are some big shoes to step into.
Oh, that was the voice of Ian Jensen there. Hit it, boys, hit it, boys. He's talking to the big grinders at the front there. I mean, they've got a huge bit of horsepower on that boat. Nick Hutton, they've got Neil Hunter up there. Huge men at the front pumping those handles round, doing a really great... Oh, it's getting loose on board Rockwool Denmark. They put the bow in, struggling to control these new T-foils. The German submarine. Wow, the bows of these boats are constantly underwater there. Germany getting wide on the round in there, Todd. Look at that. The possible course was right round where Rockwool are. Denmark are just sliding inside. Germany cannot get it under control. Here come the Italians. They're out of control around here. Oh, it's taking some learning to do these new T-foils.
Talk about messy down at this last gate. You had Rockwell, Denmark, Germany, Deutsche Bank, and Red Bull, Italy all having issues. Now Spain back in the mix as they have now moved up multiple positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all on here, isn't it? We talk about this, but it's a class race between these first two. Great Britain and Australia. At the moment, they look a class apart from the rest of the fleet. They're having a race, very much a match race between the two of them. Great Britain must keep clear here. Slingsby's not going to let Fletcher off the hook, and he really puts the clamps on him there. Advantage with Australia. It's going to be a lead change. Aussies are in the lead, and this would put Australia in a very strong position to the final as he's forced Great Britain off the foils.
Right gate's very favoured.
He's talking here about which way does he want to go. He's saying right gate's favoured, so to turn right's going to save them a lot of distance, but he'd have to do two manoeuvres rather than just one for the left turn. It'll be interesting what Slingsby decides to do.
Big turn, Tash, big turn, big turn, big turn. Keep going, keep going.
And the communication as they transfer the sailors from one side to the other. So it's Australia back in front. Remember, they got the lead at the mark #1, and then after a mistake, Emirates GBR took it over, and it looks like it's going to be a race in the final two legs. It's gate number 5. They'll go back to the bottom of the course, and then they'll finish right in front of the grandstand.
Coming up. Don't worry about them. All the way down. Big picture. Big picture.
Just trying to that. Yeah, well, finish first. First was finished. Dylan's done a bit of squad trading with me, and he's heard that line a few times before. You've got to stay in your own boat and sail smooth. I think it's not necessarily how windy the top wind speed is. It's the fact that when these gust hits, imagine you've got a car, 200 horsepower car, and it's suddenly then got 500 horsepower. And that Spanish boat, well, they look like they couldn't control the power earlier on, but they're up to third, doing a great job through the fleet, and the Italians as well. Where are the Kiwis? Well, here come the black foils. Work to do if they want to be in today's final.
And once again, it is Peter Burling, the winners of the last event in Dubai, who had a terrible start, and they've worked their way all the way up to 5th. Don't be surprised if they end up in a top 3 position at the end of this race.
Yeah, look at that, Todd. Middle of our screen there. United States back in 9th place. They just seem to struggle with this full crew format. When there's 4 on the boat, they've done really, really well. I don't know if it's the extra decision maker coming on board the boat. Taylor perhaps likes to run things on his own. I don't know, but the USA at the moment are struggling when they get 6 on the boat.
The Americans did not have their best day yesterday with a 7th, a 6th, and then back-to-back 10th place finishes. So here we go to the final gate, and it will be the Australians. Remember, they won the last 2 races, or the last race in yesterday, winning race number 2. So this will be a second win for them out of 5 races as Tom Slingsby and the Australians bring it across. One more slight dip, and there will be your Emirates winning moment. Australia will win race number 5 here in Auckland.
And Emirates Great Britain, they drop back to 2nd. They'll be happy with that in their race to the final. Their Emirates winning moment's pretty good, but back a picture. Red Bull Italy could be the story of the race. What a job they've done on board that boat, looking like 3rd at the moment. The black foils, oh, they know they've got such a sense of timing, that Kiwi crew. Can Burling keep that black foils on the foil, or will the Spanish get round? It will be the Spanish with the right of way if they can overlap. It's a sprint to the finish. This point will be crucial in the race for today's final.
3rd goes to Red Bull Italy as now the charge is on, and it looks like Peter Burling's going to hold that line.
Big manoeuvre by the Spanish. That's aggressive. That will have been protested towards Craig Mitchell there. It'll be interesting what that way. I think the Kiwis kept clear.
Both kennels, just say stuck kennels.
Oh, you see the crowd there? That's how I feel, to be perfectly honest. Heart in the mouth stuff coming into the finish there. United States, they come round in 9th. And Rockwell, Denmark, well, they were up in 3rd for a moment, but they've dropped right down with that incident. Mistakes are so costly today, but they're easily found.
So Taylor Canfield and the Americans, they will check in top 10, but a 9th place finish. And unfortunately, Switzerland, the winners of race number 3, will finish dead last. Remember, Canada unable to go today, and we are missing France, so it becomes a 10-boat fleet race here for the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I imagine it's feeling pretty busy, even though there are only 10 out there at the moment. That little bit of extra space, probably quite handy. Switzerland, well, they really turned on the form yesterday afternoon. They did a great job of hitting the reset button, and they're going to need to do exactly that here, Todd, because a 10th in the first race is not the result they were looking for.
So Australia padding to their lead. Coming into today, they already had the lead as they were looking very good, sitting on 34 points. They pick up 10 more points for the win, and now the Australians are looking very good as we start crunching the numbers to see which 3 teams will make the event final later today. So 5 races up, 5 races down. Australia leads it, 44 points, 37 points in Emirates GBR's favor. And then Red Bull Italy holding on to that tiebreaker over the host team, the Black Bulls, both on 32 points, as well as Spain. So there's the battle for the third and final spot with 2 more fleet races to go. You've got Rockwell, Denmark, Switzerland, Canada, USA, Germany, Deutsche Bank, and Mubadala, Brazil, rounding out the 11 teams. All right, Emily, let's talk about the start of this race and some of the action as we take a look at the fly time brought to you by Emirates. No big surprise here to see Australia with 86% of flight time.
It was an impressive performance by the Australians, and they kicked that off from the gun. Hit 7 seconds to go. They have plenty of space around them. They pull the trigger, get to the line, and at the gun, 2 meters off the line at 80 kilometers an hour of boat speed. How on earth Tom Slingsby judged that, I will never know. But they continued that performance the entire way around the course. A true masterclass in being able to keep it up on the foils. Now, they did have a few moments, a few touchdowns, but it really was a battle of attrition out there for all of the teams, just trying to recover as quickly as they could because the chaos at the bottom gates was insane. Some near capsizes, boats crashing off the foils, and it was snakes and ladders for everyone, and really about how well you could manage that. Some impressive performances by all the teams. The Spanish, for example, they didn't have the best result, but they had a top speed of 96 kilometers an hour while racing. So impressive all round.
Right. And what a performance by Australia. They had the lead, they gave away lead back to Emirates GBR, and a great comment in the race coming from driver Dylan Fletcher saying, race our own race. Let's look at the big picture. Winning this race is not as important. It's just a matter of finishing that top 3 position because they want to get to that event final. All right, Emily, let's crunch some numbers because there are a lot of numbers, especially when the wind comes up like this. Australia used it to their favor, keeping the maneuvers to a minimum, but in the end, it's all about how efficient you can be out on the water.
And today, it's all about minimizing those mistakes. Look at the fly time, 86% for Australia, which is impressive compared to the other teams, but compared to what we're used to seeing, especially compared to yesterday, those are not the numbers we expect. But Australia, 63 kilometers an hour average speed with Emirates GBR 61.7. So they really are just that little edge better than everyone else at the moment.
So Australia wins their second race out of 5 as we take it now down onto the water. Their driver, Tom Slingsby, of course, Tosh Bryant, Chris Draper doing the wing trimming. Tom, you made it look easy in this one, but I know it was far from that. Can you explain to us just what it's like when you hit mark number 1?
Yeah, it is not easy out here. It's 20 plus knots, very choppy, wind against tide, and yeah, 11 boats, it's hard. Yeah, we had a great start. Even though as soon as the gun went, it felt like we got all foils out of the water on the gun. But we managed to recover and lead to Mark 1, and then had a good battle with the British and managed to just take it.
And Tom, how much you actually race in the fleet, or are you just racing yourself?
Yeah, it's sometimes you need to know when to take higher risk and race the fleet, and other times you need to back off. And I mean, we won that race, and I can guarantee you at times we had to put off the accelerator, just trying to manage the boat and get us around the fleet, get around the course safely.
Tom, appreciate the time. Stay safe. Races 6 and 7 coming up, and the Australians are looking good to make the event final. So a tiebreaker could come into play here as we are now a minute away from the start of race number 6. Remember, there's race number 7 coming up after that, and then it will just be the top 3 teams on points that will race for the title. USA gets in the start box very early this time, Stevie. They need a huge performance in the next 2 races.
Yeah, and once again, you see off the right-hand side there, Canada look like they're having a go, but New Zealand towards that right-hand side of our screen as well. They look late to me again. They're struggling to get their timings in this pre-start, and this battle to the final is going to be so crucial. United States love their positioning at the moment. They've got a lot of space right now. Rockwell Denmark should be well positioned as well. The pole predictor sits on the mast at the top of the United States there. They've got a lot of space, but it's going to be about accuracy from here. New Zealand will struggle to be fast at the gun. Their right-hand corner of our screen, once again out of position. Italy well positioned. Australia foiling with 8 seconds to go. They're going to wind it up in the middle of the line. Here come Australia. How's your timing, Tom Slingsby? Out of the middle of the line. He's fast, he's furious, and he's going to send it into Mark 1 from here.
No problem to Lewin.
Oh, Tash Bryant on board Australia there. No problem to Lewin, no problem anywhere. Slingsby is on fire today.
It's deja vu all over again at mark number 1. It's the Aussies out in front.
Great work by Rockwell Denmark round there. They've got to watch out for the Italians again. Italy, another superb performance. Ruggi Tita and Mael Frascari there doing a brilliant job on that Italian boat. They're right in the mix here. Brazil in 4th place as well. It's so tight, but not on this screen at the moment of the Kiwis. New Zealand are going to need a big catch-up job in this race. Look at the dark patches on the water there, Todd. Massive differences in wind strength around the course.
And the search is on to find pressure. The Swiss now have come off the foil, so just like that, Peter Burling will pick up one more spot.
Yeah, there's he's got a lot of work to do there, and once again we can see the Australians are lined up well for the mark. Italy have got to be careful of Rockwell Denmark at the moment. Rockwell Denmark have the right of way, but the Italians look fast. Big gust of wind about to hit the Italians. Here they go, watch them line up.
Gate number 2, once again, it's Australia out in front. Watch the speed as they come around, and the Aussies put in a big dip.
Oh, they're all struggling to control the pitch of the boat on the roundup as they accelerate through the roundup. They're all getting too high. Flight controllers got to back the lift off round there. Brilliant work by Rockwell Denmark, and that neat and tidy roundings move them right up into the lead at the moment.
And look at Martin Grael, the Brazilians. They come around there, and Italy's almost at a dead stop. They got to veer around to the right-hand side.
Oh, background, look at the Kiwis, Todd. Oh, they went from a 90 to 0 in the blink of an eye there. That was unbelievable. Mistakes are happening all around the course here, but the Australians, they are the one constant here. Remember, it's Australia, it's Italy, and it's Spain in this race to the final. And at the moment, New Zealand have got a lot of work to do.
And look at Rockwell Denmark. They have catapulted themselves into the actual lead right now, ahead of Australia. Spain's coming back into 3rd. The Americans having a good run here, currently in 5th place, almost deadlocked with Emirates GBR.
Yeah, it looks to me, Lisa, like the Spanish team have found a nice wind shift on the left-hand side. Are you still liking that left-hand side of the course?
Yeah, there's some real bullets coming over the headlands here, and it's really nice if you hook into a good one, but it's just so much flatter over here, and I just think everyone's making mistakes, so it's just about minimizing those mistakes, and if you do have one, bouncing back hard.
Lefties here. Sorry.
Race number 6 is underway. We'll have one more fleet race. That's race number 7. And then the top 3 teams will face off for the event final. Right now, it's Australia out in front. Denmark has dropped back to 2nd. And Spain now, the winners of last year, currently sit in 3rd. And then, Stevie, it's a big pileup of 5 teams about 200 meters back.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty huge at the moment. Australia, well, they're pretty much booking their ticket into the final with this performance. Emirates, Great Britain, they'll be close to certainty of being there as well. But it's the leaderboard on the left there. Well, we see New Zealand in 9th place. They've got some serious work to do if they want to. And, well, they were calling for lefties on board Rockwell Denmark, and that means the wind's rotated left, and that's got them into the lead. Brilliant upwind by Rockwell Denmark.
What's in Italy and Brazil? Where are they? Just here. Yeah, I see them.
You see them calling out the boats coming into the gated area. As Nikolai Sehested using that communication for Rockwell Denmark. They have the lead. Can they hold off the Aussies?
Certainly doing everything they can, and the United States a much better showing here in this race by the US team. Here they go. Now they're looking for a smooth maneuver here. Emirates Great Britain chasing them down. Will have the chance to rotate on the inside. Here come the black foils. Work to do, but they're getting themselves back in the match.
So the home team, New Zealand, they sit in 8th place right now. Germany, Deutsche Bank just passes behind them in 9th, and it's the Red Bull Italy team in 7th, with Mubadala Brazil, currently sitting in 6th.
There we go, a little little gain to that flat water side here as we see the points on the left.
Currently, that will put Australia, Great Britain and Spain through to the final.
Go hard, boys.
Tommy Johnson, he wants the grinders working hard for him. As soon as it's as windy as this, there's a lot of work to be done by the grinders, I think, on the course, and they've got to get working really, really hard. That horsepower in the front of the boat, huge out there today. Look at the speed on the top of the Australian wing.
One more time at the DP World Gate. Watch the speeds.
Much smoother. Look at that. They just didn't get that pitch jumping up in the air. They kept the boat a lot flatter on the rounding. Rockwell Denmark, they're at a pretty loose angle here. It's going to be gnarly. Whoa, they just snuck round. Hopefully they're not taking out another one of our marks.
Give me good pressure all the way. Nice. Okay, turning your twist. Yeah, copy, mate.
Okay, so look at this, it's tight in the pack here, Todd. Spain have got round in third, which is great for their race to the final. Great Britain have overtaken the United States, but they get a bit loose on board the British boat there. Luke Parkinson flying that British boat a little bit high, but at the moment it seems calm enough on board. New Zealand still back in 8th place. For my money, they need to at least get to 6th to give themselves a shot of making the final.
As it stands right now, it would be Australia, Spain, and Emirates GBR, with Italy just missing out. Fans on their feet as the hometown team comes around. I'm worried about them, Stevie. They're in 8th place right now.
Yeah, I just think the one thing, they've just not looked as smooth in the manoeuvres as we've seen before. Australia basically look the most rock solid through all their manoeuvres, and that's what's showing up here. It's not that they're doing necessarily anything brilliant, it's just that they're not making the mistakes that cost the meters to get lost. They're doing the simple things well.
We got a sense of this on practice days as the Australians look to be spot on, really having no problems adjusting to those T-foils as Tom Slingsby just kind of cut through the rest of the field, and here he is on Super Sunday doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you know, obviously we talk about Tom Slingsby, we talk about all these people, but I feel like it's in many ways, it's probably Jason Waterhouse, the flight controller. He's the one really having to get to grips with these new T-foils. He's doing a nice job.
We should lay. We've got to go right turn. We've got Spain just behind. Taking some light patch.
So the Australians going to make a right-hand turn. Spain coming in with Denmark on their right-hand side.
Yeah, Denmark have the right of way here, so Spain expect to manoeuvre. There they go. Spain are going to own the left turn. Denmark will be following them. Great race for the Spanish, and it looks like the breeze has just dropped off a little bit out there, Lisa.
One, down. Nice, very nice.
It certainly has dropped off. I mean, there are some big bullets still coming down, but overall it's a little bit calmer. Also, the wave state has calmed down just a little bit, but still pretty gnarly out here for the teams.
No more, Joey.
So gate number 5, they'll make their way back to the bottom of the course, and it's a left-hand turn, and then the finish right in front of the fans. Australia out in front. Spain now moving into 2nd, Denmark 3rd, Emirates GBR in 4th.
Oh, it's tight from 5th though, isn't it? 5th all the way back to 9th is really, really tight, and it's going to come down to the details. Rockwell Denmark, a potential overtake just before the finish. Lovely manoeuvre by Sehested.
20 seconds.
Nice calm voice from Anne-Marie Rindham, their strategist. Cool, and we're all good. It's Australia have got the right of way here, and potentially 2 more manoeuvres for Denmark and the Spanish. It's going to be tricky at the bottom of the course for them.
Hey, stand by. Put down.
Apologies for any slightly marginal language if we see there. Oh, they've dropped the wing sheet down. They've got really slow on that Australian boat. They're really slow for this manoeuvre. It's going to be tricky to re-accelerate here. All got a bit loose on the board drop. Right away, Rockwell Denmark here. Spain have the right of way over Australia as well. Slingsby must stay safe. He's going to lose the lead. Oh, the Spanish are high here. They're forcing it wide. Can Rockwell Denmark take the win? This could really put them back in the match for the overall here. Big mistake by the Australians, and that's the first big one we've seen all weekend.
That's more like it.
And just like that, Denmark goes from 3rd to 1st place here in race number 6. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Great Danes.
Well, it was a Bit of spirit on board that Denmark boat there. The Emirates winning moment absolutely went there. Great job.
Ooh, tight finish for second.
Really tight. I don't know if the Australians, I think they just got it on the line, and that could be really costly for the Spanish there. Another solid one for Great Britain, and sixth, up to sixth, right at the end there's New Zealand. That's going to give them a shot still to make the final. Oh, absolutely crucial points gained at the finish. Italy fall off the foils. Disaster for the Red Bull Italy team, who are so well placed.
And another race on for the battle for seventh, and it looks like it will be Germany, Deutsche Bank, that just gets across before the Americans.
I know, I released it, but why can't you just saying it? Like, just put it up. I didn't know what you're saying here.
And the Swiss will bring across in 10th. So it's USA, Italy, and Switzerland, the last three, and one more race to go here in Auckland. Wow, Stevie, so now everyone will debrief for one more race, and this will make things a little more clear as we get ready for the final race. Everyone home safely. So after 6 races, it is Australia that leads 53 points, Emirates GBR 44, Spain sits on 40, and there you see the delineation between 3rd and 4th. Now it's 3 points between Spain, New Zealand, and then you drop back to Rockwell, Denmark, and Red Bull Italy at 34. So really, 3 spots, 6 teams still in play.
And what a start that was. Australia once again creating their own space around them to be able to hit the line with speed. Both them and Denmark at over 65 kilometers an hour. Now, the Brits out the back at the start, 90 meters behind the rest of the boats. And then they were on a mission to catch the rest of the fleet. And they had opportunities with all of that chaos at that first bottom gate. Most of the teams off the foils, fighting to get back, and those boats rounding behind them straight into traffic. We saw the overtaking, change of lead the whole way around the course, with teams fighting to keep control of the boats. Even the Australians crashing off the foils in that final leg, leaving the door wide open for the Danish team to come in and steal a win right out from beneath their noses. Even the Spanish coming round here as well. A gutting moment for the Australian team, but they do still sit pretty in the standings.
So after all that flying around the course in very strong winds, it comes down to almost a crawl to the finish line, where Denmark comes from behind to get the win, and they get Australia in second, with Spain finishing in third. So we got parity in Auckland, New Zealand, 6 races, 5 different winners. And let's take a look at the Emirates flight time. It is Denmark, 94%. And that flight time translates into a victory for Rockwell, Denmark, as we are now able to go on board Nikolai Sehested, their driver. Nikolai, great race for you guys. Was there any point where you thought you'd have to concede that win and settle for a top 1 or 2 finish, and then you saw an opening?
To be honest, we're not thinking that much out here. It maybe looks like we're all over it and have good plans and stuff, but we're just trying to manage the boat and keep it in control. It's pretty difficult, so we're just trying to get around the race course pretty clean.
And Nikolai, it's been a big event, a lot of races. I've seen, you got Julius and Ed Powis up on the grinding pedestals. How much of a physical challenge is it today?
Yeah, we have a few boat issues. We're sort of racing the boat, so the parts is falling apart. That's why there's a lot of people running around trying to patch some fairings and some Kleisar and stuff. It's it's been a hectic day, but it's really, really good fun, and what a cool venue.
Nikolai, I appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck in race number 7. Nikolai Sehested and Rockwell, Denmark, they claimed the victory in race number 6 in a very tight one. It's Denmark, Australia, and Spain, top 3, with Emirates GBR 4th, and Brazil rounding out the top 5. So Emily Nagel, everyone wants to know who's in, who's on the fringe of getting in, and where does New Zealand sit right now?
So Australia are definitely through. GBR are pretty much all but confirmed. Spain, though, they've got to do some work to secure their position, because the Kiwis, if they come 3 positions ahead of the Spanish, they could see themselves go through into the final. So for Kiwi fans out there, it's not over yet.
So really, we got a case of musical chairs. There are only 3 chairs available, but 4 people dancing. And Stevie, this will be interesting after this next 30 seconds. Who hits mark number 1 first? And can the Kiwis go full hocus pocus and pull off another come-from-behind win?
Yeah, well, they're better positioned at the moment, but they got Butler Brazil in their way towards the top of our screen. New Zealand are slightly out the back. They will have a chance. The Rolex pole predictor sits on the Spanish at the moment, but they're really stuck in the pack. It's going to be hard. I like where the USA are at the moment. Rockwool Denmark looping around the outside. They're not out of the mix for the final here either. Brazil are early back to the line. New Zealand are going to be struggling to accelerate. The whole fleet's close to the line. Who's going to get the whole shot here? Clear start there, good start, and it's brilliant at the bottom of the line from Rockwool Denmark. They're going to be blasting into Mark 1. Can they hold on the fast-charging Ruse above them? I think they will. And the Italians line it up. Red Bull Italy coming in fast. Here they go. It's all happening into Mark 1, and the New Zealander out the back. It's going to need a miracle for Burling & Co from here.
4 wide at mark number 1 in the final fleet race of the day, with points up for grab and everyone scrapping for a spot at the table.
Oh, the Rolex sprint leader Denmark, they're setting up for the maneuver, and I think as it stands right now, it'd be Rockwool Denmark with that place in the final. Brilliant from Seherstedt.
Should be good, TJ. You're good now. Slow turn. Down Frank. It's jumping heaps.
Oh, look at that. The boats are all over the place through that first manoeuvre. Great save. And Germany get loose, left-hand side of our screen. New Zealand are in the pack, close to the Spanish, and both those boats have got a lot of overtaking to do if they've got any hope of making the final.
Great communication on board Rockwool Denmark. Nikolai Seherstedt talking to TJ. Tom Johnson, who is the wing trimmer. And here we go as they come in to gate number 2, the DP World Gate. It's Rockwool Denmark, Red Bull Italy, and here come the Aussies.
3, 2, 1, turning up. Turning down and turning up.
This has been the tricky rounding. Australia just on the inside. Controlled though, I think. Can Australia keep the boat smooth? Smooth rounding, and they're faster on board Australia. Those first 3 around clean. Nice job there. New Zealand are slow and on the inside, back in the pack. Oh, look at that view for the fans there, Todd. There's thousands in that grandstand, and they're getting the boats pretty much in their laps.
The big key right now, you've got Spain currently sitting in 4th with New Zealand in 7th. They need to turn that around, the Black Foils do, if they want any shot at the final.
Here's a wind here.
Really messy out there on the race course at the moment. Germany are out of the water. New Zealand need to be ahead of Denmark if we're going to get anything here in this race to the final. Remember, a tie break's decided by whoever's ahead in the last race.
Good angle.
And the race to final is so hectic at the moment. Australia clear ahead, but Spain and Great Britain tied on 47 points. The Danish on 46. It is going to be a who beats who.
Well, Emirates Great Britain could lose out on the final from nowhere here if they can't start overtaking some boats. Right-hand side of our screen, they're in a tight incident with the United States. Didn't look like they saw each other there. That all happened a bit late. It's slow.
Okay, another 8 seconds.
Oh, look at this!
Dylan Fletcher asking the questions there. There's a port tack boat keeping clear, so USA get a penalty, but that's already alleviated as they're a long way behind. That's the Emirates umpire studio there. Chief umpire Craig Mitchell closest to camera. He's making the tough calls out there on the water, but at the moment no tough calls are required to get happening for that Danish crew. But the United States, they are struggling here. Not sure who didn't see. Strategists maybe not quite spotting the British boat.
And Italy picks up
this is the umpires. Penalty, Italy, relative Spain. Port tack boat not keeping clear.
Oh, big
That's going to help Spain and hurt New Zealand.
They need to drop back here. Spain are losing places quickly. New Zealand are up to 4th. New Zealand are up to 4th, but they've got to catch Rockwool Denmark if they've got a hope of getting the final. If they finish behind Rockwool Denmark, they'll be tied on points, but that would put Rockwool through. So New Zealand, desperate times for the Kiwis, potentially needs a mistake for the Danish right now, but New Zealand could be right up the fleet here.
Stay high. Get heavy.
Oh, there's going to be a protest there. Don't be surprised if there's a penalty for New Zealand relative Spain there. It's really tight in the pack, and out in front, the Danish are moving away nicely. Australia are stopping there, Todd. They've retired from the race, I believe. Oh, wow, I hope they've not had boat damage. What a disaster that would be. They're already in the final, but of course, it doesn't matter if the boat's not working properly.
This is like the cable slack, everything working, but...
Oh, he's not happy there. It's not quite right. Seems to be taking a chance to fix the boat. That's maturity right there.
Well, it's a smart move then, probably, Stevie, because then get the short crew on board and start working on it now while the race is going on.
100%. A real sign of the maturity that you expect from that Australian crew. As we see New Zealand here, potentially up to second. I mean, they got the bit between their teeth, but they've got to get ahead of that Danish boat if they want to make the final. So it's going to require a mistake from the Danish to give the Kiwis a chance. Sehested sailing a faultless race at the moment, somehow burling up to second right now, I'd say. Unbelievable for the New Zealand crew. What a comeback.
So the Danes cleanly around that gate, gate number 4. They'll make their way up the course, then back down, and then the left-hand turn. Keep an eye on New Zealand. It's New Zealand and Brazil coming together, center of the screen right now.
And that's a reminder there of the point scenario at the moment. So the Kiwis haven't quite done enough to see themselves into the final, but they have sailed from 10th into 3rd.
Yeah, but even if they overtake and get to second, they'll be tied on points, but it's Rockwool Denmark that will make the final because the tie-break's decided by the last race. Brazil, it's Lucid Tilly, missed the mark at the top of our screen there. It's all happening back in the pack. Absolute chaos out there on the water. Emirates, Great Britain, 6th. They can't afford to lose many places on board that British boat either right now. Otherwise, they're going to have a problem with the New Zealand crew. It's really, really tight here. It's going to come down to mistakes if the Black Foils want to make the final, though.
Denmark in the lead, New Zealand in second.
Lisa, what can you see on the water? Is there any chance for the Kiwis of getting away round the Danish, do you see?
I don't think so at all. The Danish, they're sailing really well. They're looking really in control around the whole racetrack, and they're legging out. You know, the Kiwis did quite a good shift up the first beat, but they're sort of following them now. So unless there's a big foil out, which we've seen plenty, I think Rockwool's got this locked down.
So 300 meters is the lead for Rockwool Denmark. They have the lead. Stevie's mentioned about it. Emily's talked about it. New Zealand needs to get past Rockwool Denmark. And there you see the distance, and they only have 2 legs to get that done.
Oh, it's all happening here. I think right now the Kiwis are just praying for a mistake from Britain.
It's getting flatter and a little lighter to me. Roll through.
Yeah, well, the water does look a bit flatter. I think the current's dropping off a little bit and changing, and that's meaning that it's not fighting the wind as much, so the sea state's smoothed out a bit here.
Getting softer in 3, 2, 1 softer now. Carrying away in 5, hard puff in 2.
There we go, here's those points.
And there's the latest. With Australia out of this race, it does mix the points up again. So Spain and Great Britain currently tied on 48 points. The Danish, though, 46, not currently enough for them to get through.
Emily, let me ask you a procedural question. If Australia had boat damage they could not repair in time for the final, does that move Denmark into the final, taking Australia's spot?
It would, but let's not jinx anything just yet.
Just checking. So here we go. They're heading back down. It's Denmark out in front. Massive lead over New Zealand. The Black Foils certainly don't want to disappoint the sold-out crowd here in Auckland as SailGP comes to the city of sails for the very first time.
Well, it's just a huge comeback by the Spanish. They've absolutely nailed that upwind leg. They've made a massive gain. They're up to 3rd. That makes it basically impossible for the Kiwis from here to hope to make the final. What a race this has been. It's been an amazing comeback for the New Zealand crew, but they just cannot do anything about the perfect Sehested.
And it always helps when your Emirates fly time is 97%. When they need it the most, Rockwool Denmark was the cleanest, Stevie, and they have been near flawless here on this 7th fleet race.
Yeah, so deserved. Great start, and they've just been clinical since then.
Turning up.
Going to take this one nice and wide as they will come across. They'll get a big ovation from the fans, but that partisan New Zealand crowd, they certainly would rather have seen the Black Foils come in here to put themselves in the final. But 2 races and 2 wins.
Job, guys. Beautiful job.
Nikolai Sehested, exactly that. A beautiful job. Moments ago, he told us they're just sailing their own race, but they do get the Emirates winning moment 2 races in a row.
Wow, what a confidence booster that'll be. New Zealand there up to 2nd, but as we say, Spain, I think, doing enough at the moment to make their way through to the final. Emirates, Great Britain should be looking good for that as well. Great comeback for New Zealand, but they just haven't started well enough this weekend. Simple facts, they've not got off the start line, unfortunately for them.
Look at New Zealand's report card. They started the week off with a 4th place, then an 8th place finish, up to a 6th. And then, of course, they had that big win in race number 4, but just not enough points for them. Spain will come across the line in 3rd, with Switzerland in 4th.
Brilliant comeback for Diego Bortin and crew. They were struggling early on in the race. In fact, halfway through the race, they were still struggling, but they found that little left-hand wind shift that Lisa's been telling us about, made a big gain, and it's going to be Emirates Great Britain will be the 3rd boat in the final as well. Good, solid weekend for the British, and they'll fancy their chances. So all eyes turn to that Australian boat now, Todd. Is there anything wrong with it?
Dylan Fletcher and that very talented Emirates GBR squad coming across in 6th. That's enough to put them in. And now everyone fighting for these final points. You want to go out on a high, and we've got ourselves a little drag race. USA and the Italians getting together as they come to the line here in Auckland.
Yeah, the USA need to keep clear.
Not going to get him.
So it's Denmark that gets the win in race number 7 as they punch their ticket. New Zealand will take 2nd, and it'll be Spain in 3rd. But now the grand final is set. All eyes on that Australian boat. Can they go or not?
4 or 5 past there.
7 fleet races here in the City of Sails, and now it is complete. Australia is in with 54 points. Emirates GBR also in with 49, and look how close it is. Spain gets in by 2 points over Rockwell Denmark. New Zealand also missing out by 2 points, and a great showing for one of the new teams, Red Bull Italy, as they finish in 6th.
And things were cozy on that start line. A lot of the boats way too close to the line at the gun. So not quite going full speed this time, leaving a beautiful start for the Danish team, 66 kilometers an hour at the gun, first to Mark 1. But the standout performances that I noticed during this race were the Kiwis and the Spanish, who, to be honest, had a shocking start. They were both 30 meters out the back, but with all the chaos going on in front of them, those two teams managed to sail all the way up through the fleet into 2nd and 3rd. And for the Spanish, that critically got them through to the grand final today, which really impressive in such tricky conditions out there. As we've seen, it is all about survival out there today, and I think there's going to be a bit more of that to come in the final. Well, if you look purely at the numbers, you'd definitely say the Australians have been that level, but I really wouldn't write off the Brits or the Spanish. Their performances have been really strong today, and the Spanish especially look really locked in.
Emirates GBR, we just had a moment to get to know Dylan Fletcher, the Olympic gold medalist driver, stepping in for Sir Ben Ainsley. There's the rest of the crew. Stevie, there's a lot of Olympic hardware on there with Hannah Mills, the GOAT, with 2 gold medals of her own.
Yeah, she'll enjoy these shifty conditions, but I think it was Neil Hunter and Nick Hutton I'd have my eyes on there. Big grinders, a lot of horsepower, means they can get a very quick wing movement.
Heavy hitters across the board here as we take a look at Australia. Remember, they won 3 seasons in a row of SailGP, and across the board with the addition of Chris Draper, that's a powerful squad.
Yeah, I think Chris Draper's slotted in really well. And Tash Bryant, you know, she really loves these windy conditions, and on any foiling boat, she's pretty good. But again, Sam Newton up in the front there. Him and Kinley Fowler really bring that big horsepower into the grinding setup. So I think that boat speed, we shouldn't underestimate the fitness of the grinders, how important they are. 42 seconds to go. Well positioned is Dylan Fletcher for that optimum spot on the start line. The red start line there, the blue triangles where they'll be wanting to hit, but all they'll want's boat speed. Our Rolex pole predictor sits on board Slingsby's Australian boat with 25 seconds to go. All the boats are well spread out here. It's all going to come down to acceleration, execution from here. Australia first to turn the boat towards the line. Emirates Great Britain, well, 150 meters back with 15 seconds to go. Now they start to wind it up. 12 seconds to go. Spain late to turn. They attack Fletcher on board Emirates Great Britain. Tom Slingsby winds it up. Here come the Aussies. How's your timing, Tom Slingsby? Oh, it's perfect from Fletcher, it's perfect from Slingsby, but Slingsby's got the faster angle into Mark 1, and can he break the overlap? I think he will. They're absolutely flying on board Australia here.
Oh, and Dylan Fletcher goes right at him.
Oh, it's going to be a protest there. That's tight. I think the Australians have kept clear. Spain are tight on the inside, and Australia are going to lead around Mark 1 just with Emirates Great Britain in control tactically.
And the Rolex sprint leader, Australia, they have been serving up a master class on the waters here in Auckland.
Yeah, close to the boundary here. It's going to come down to execution. The British boat has a slight wobble on that first manoeuvre. They're off the foil on board Great Britain. That's a disaster for the British. At this level, you cannot make that mistake. Spain have executed well, Australia have executed well, and Emirates Great Britain are going to be out the back.
Stevie, we've seen this movie before when you've got teams like Emirates GBR in Australia doing battle, and that lets the Spanish and Diego Botín slide back into the picture. They were in third at mark number 1, and now they are looking very good, just 100 meters behind the Aussies.
Yeah, but 100 meters at this stage of the race is a lot, and this Australian boat's been the form team. Spain will be set up to go right. Slingsby's going to match that. Fletcher's got to find something from here. I think now it's a case of, does that Australian boat, whatever that little gremlin was, has it cleared up? Does Slingsby feel confident, because the Australians are in pole position at gate 2 and all the other boats are going to be following them, which is absolutely perfect for them.
No surprise here, the Australians won 2 of the 7 fleet races to get to this point, but to Stevie's point, race number 7, they retired after only 2 legs, reporting problems on board. Looks like the shore crew did a great job getting them back and running here in the final.
Yeah, well, let's remember there's $400,000 up for the winner of this race, Todd. So there's plenty of motivation beyond just the overall points. Professional athletes they may be, but they'll still love that prize money. And it's going to come down to the really strong execution. Nice turn there. They tack the boat through the wind. Brilliantly executed. Boat already heeled on top of them there. Draper, the wing trimmer, well, he's slotted into this team so well. Absolutely seamless. And the Spanish are catching, but Australia, great controlling position at this point.
Emirates GBR dropping back to 3rd after that little skirmish with Tom Slingsby and the Australians. So now it's a match race within 100 meters between the 3-time champions, Australia, and the Spanish, going 1 and 2. Winner takes all here.
There we go, our Rolex chasing time shows they're just 7 seconds in it. They're really tied together here. See the different colours on the water there, Todd, the different textures to it. Shows there's really variable wind out there. Australia sailing into a lot of breeze right now, and expect to see them start accelerating. Draper says a header, that means it's taking them away from the mark, which strategically will be good news for them. Spain are going to lose a few meters to the Aussies here. Look at the speed difference as Australia hit that gust of wind.
Good angle, good angle.
Oh, that was a bit messy, that manoeuvre there. They didn't quite get that right. Good enough. Draper's happy.
Like a lolling header on the nose there. You ain't your best early. Yeah, copy.
Flight controller Jason Waterhouse crosses over, and now the entire team on the right-hand side.
It's very calm on board, isn't it? Real calming voice from Chris Draper there. A lot of experience as a wing trimmer. Stepped away to do a bit of coaching last season, but Slingsby snapped him up when he heard he was free and he'd lost Carl Langford, and wow, what a signing that seems to be right now.
At the bill. Nice, clean lap to you guys.
That's really all they need right now, Todd. Clean lap, just got to stay away. Over 200 metres ahead here, and let's be honest, they look faster, don't they? Spanish are doing a nice job. Great Britain struggling to find much option to get back in the race, and the Australians, well, it's theirs to lose from here.
So it's down, back up, and down again before the finish of this event final, and now it is Australia starting to pull away here on leg number 4.
Tash Bryant on the wheel now, steering out of that manoeuvre. Brilliant form from the Australians. 100% fly time. Look at that on the top of their wing, and they're just executing the best manoeuvres in the fleet at the moment. Don't want to jinx them. 4:07. Here we go. Come back to the start. And the Australians and the British were absolutely perfect, but it was Australia with the faster angle to Mark 1. They just kept clear of Fletcher, and maybe Dylan will be regretting that second little dig he took at the Australians after Mark 1, because it was brilliant from both both boats. We're on board the Australian boat here. Here comes Great Britain, tries to push Australia. Slingsby reacts, and now he's just clear ahead. I'm sure it was tight, but all was good from the umpires. On board Mark 1, what a view that is as we see how tight it is and the speed they come in. Just clear ahead there, and the British on the inside, but he needed to manoeuvre away a little earlier.
Back to live racing action at gate number 4, the DP World Gate. They split the course this time, so Australia going to that favor side, which they have used so many times before. Spain decides to go closer to the shore and right in front of the fans, and it's Emirates GBR in third.
Oh, you just know any time you get a split in the race like that as the leader, you're nervous. As soon as you get some separation, a change in the wind means that it could benefit that other team. So Spain right now, have they got more wind? To me, they look like they're going well. Let's come in. Here we go. The Oracle Cloud tells us their wind strength is pretty similar, but Spain are quicker at the moment. Tash Bryant's calling across to Australia by 1. It's a gain to Spain out of the bottom gate there. The split has paid off, but it's Australia now heading towards that windier side. Lisa, who's heading to the most breeze right now?
Well, Stevie, it's pretty hectic out here. I think it was a big gain by the Spanish team, so it's going to be neck and neck at this top gate.
There we go, the Rolex chasing time, Todd, down to 4 seconds. Right of way will be with Australia if it's close when they come back together, but it could be a split again at the top gate, and it'll be all about who finds the most wind out of this top gate.
The gap keeps coming down, and Spain still believing that they can get the win and take down the mighty Australians. And here we go, it comes down to this final leg. This is like 5 of 7. They'll get to this gate, and then the race is on.
Yeah, the Spanish look like they were in good wind there, Todd. I wouldn't be surprised to see another small gain to the Spanish here. They could be absolutely neck and neck. Right of ways with Australia. Our ladder lines show a 50-metre lead to Australia. I think it could be closer than that when they come together, but the Spanish are going to turn right. The water looks choppier that side. It's going to be higher risk. Big gain to Spain here. Can they dive on the inside? Could be a last-minute dip behind for Spain. No, they drop the board. They're going to try and dive inside. I'm not sure that's the right move. I do not sure that's the right move. He's going to try and force Australia wide. Oh, it's so tight. They've executed it well, but that was too aggressive for me. I think he should have split the course. Green from the umpires, no penalty. I think the Spanish should have gone the other way and tried to take the split there. That was a mistake for me.
So Diego Botín rolls the dice, and it comes up snake eyes there on that last gate. Stevie, they go to the other side. There's more pressure there, and now they split away.
Well, they've split away now, but I think they had the chance to just dip straight behind the Australians there. Anyway, very easy sat here from this booth. Diego clearly thought he had a shot at it. He tried it, but they just couldn't stick the manoeuvre. It's now just about, can the Australians do 2 more foiling manoeuvres to get round this final turning mark, and then it could be a victory in front of those Kiwi fans.
And look at the lead now ballooning to 200 meters. Chasing time is 11 seconds. So Tom Slingsby and the Aussies, all they need to do is be clean around this last gate, and it's a straight shot to victory lane.
Yeah, they're going to make this, Todd. They're in 1 here, so it's just about the roundup. Beautiful downwind leg by the Aussies here. 2 300-meter gain. Here we go. Going to get to do it in front of the Kiwi fans.
And the Emirates fly time, 82% for Tom Slingsby and the Flying Roos as they bring it home. And there's the finish line. The sold-out crowd will bring them home. They'd rather see black foils, but they're going to see green and gold as they come to the line. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Australians.
Oh, well, they've been the form team of the event. They deserve that big celebration. We keep saying, up against, you've got to remember Spain are the defending champions. Right. That's going to mean a lot to Tom Slingsby. He's not won for a while. He's going to love that. Oh, something's gone wrong there. Too much cant put on by the foil controller. Joe Cardona there, that's a mistake, but it's not going to hurt them too much, but it did get Diego excited.
And they do bring it across safely, so Spain will finish in 2nd place, pick up 9 points on the season, and another strong showing. A top 3 finish at the event. Emirates GBR will finish in 3rd after they finish 2nd at the first event. And let's not forget, the next event just across the Tasman Sea for the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney. Tom will be looking to make it 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I thought Slingsby was the form boat over in Dubai, but they made a mistake on the Sunday. So they are form, they're fast, and yeah, they're going to love what they're doing right now.
Let the celebration begin as we take a look at the fastest speed of the day, brought to you by DP World. And how about this? They don't get the win, but Spain pulls it off, 96.03 kilometers an hour. Congratulations, Spain. Not only do they make the final as the defending champions, but they do notch the DP World highest speed of the day, 96.03 kilometers. So it was Australia, Spain, and Great Britain that get top honors on the podium. It's 10 points to the win, and that goes into the account of Australia and Tom Slingsby. They missed out on the final at the first event in Dubai. Spain will pick up 9 points, and Emirates GBR will pick up the 8 points. With the Black Bulls of New Zealand just missing out, they'll grab the 7 points. Rockwell, Denmark gets 6, despite winning the last 2 events of this event. Well done to Nikolai Sehested and the Danes. So 2 events of 13 now complete, and we've got a tie at the top of the leaderboard. Emirates GBR in 17, and the Black Bulls equal to that. Tom Slingsby, he sits in 3rd place, even with the Spanish. All kinds of parity across the board here in SailGP season number 5. Well, after a long commute from Dubai to get to Auckland, we say goodbye to the city of sails and we say hello to Sydney, Australia, one of the most beautiful port cities in the world that they will play host. That comes up February 8th and 9th, a short turnaround as the Aussies will look to defend that home water and pick up yet another win. The KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix returns once again to the iconic Sydney Harbour. Expect epic racing.
Jeremy must keep clear.
At breakneck speeds. Look at the speeds up there. Will triple champions Australia win once again on home waters? Hocus pocus! Australia takes the win in Sydney. Or will the hunting pack spoil Slingsby's dream? We are off and racing here at the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix. So that wraps things up for the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix Auckland. What a great performance as we take a look at the precision sailors of the day before we say goodbye.
And unsurprisingly, with that top speed, Diego Boaton takes driver of the day. Hannah Mills with Emirates GBR, strategist of the day. And the team of Tom Johnson and Rasmus Kostner take wing trimmer and flight controller. Once again, we're seeing similar pairs for wing trim and flight control, showing just how critical it is, the communication between those two.
Stevie, you give the world's best sailors a little win and they turn in a masterful performance.
Yeah, what great racing. And I mean, we've changed the foils for this event, haven't we? But we've not changed the top teams. Australia and Spain, Great Britain setting the standard, so that's ominous for the rest of the fleet. This was their chance, but Slingsby and co seem to master these T-foils straight out the bag. What a scene.
Our thanks to the great people of Auckland. What a showing as SailGP comes to the beautiful city here for the first time. The ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix is now complete. On behalf of Stevie Morrison, Emily Nagel, Lisa Darman, and I'm Todd Harris saying so long from the Rolex SailGP Championship. Coming up next, it's February 8th and 9th for the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney. Until then, we say so long, and we will see you in Sydney. The stage is set for a dramatic finale for the first-time visit to Auckland.
Oh, it's so dangerous. And the Australians are off the foils. Absolute chaos out there on the water. Oh, background, look at the Kiwis. Getting too high.
What are you doing?
And everyone's scrapping for a spot at the table. And for those of you still with us here at Auckland at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix, we welcome you as we get set for the prize-giving ceremony. Of course, Australia getting the victory as they outdistance themselves from Spain and Emirates GBR in an exciting final. Todd Harris alongside Stevie Morrison, Emily Nagel, and Lisa Darmanin as the Aussies have now made their way off the Flying Ruse green and gold boat, and they are now on the victory stand.
Yeah, look at that, Tash Bryan, Tom Slingsby, Chris Draper. First taste of victory with Tom Slingsby and Draper there.
So the CEO of ITM, Sarah Johnson, steps in. She will hand the winning trophy to the wheel and the hands of Tom Slingsby. And Stevie, Emily, we've seen this movie before. They're pretty much accustomed to this.
Well, they are, but it's the first time we've seen it with Chris Draper in there, so that's a nice bond. Look how happy they are. It's been a while since they've been on the top, but they've looked fast in this 2025 season, and they're going to take some catching.
And as much, Emily, as the fans here, sold-out crowd would have liked to have seen the Black Foils up there claiming that trophy, this was the best team all weekend.
They really did stand out. They were really consistent. And they just looked so locked in on those foils. So we'll see what happens in Sydney.
They gave us a little bit of a scare there, Stevie, after retiring from the 7th Fleet race because of some issues on board the boat, but they had done enough before coming into this to say, you know what, we're already punched our ticket, we're in.
Yeah, well, let's give a shout out to the tech team. I mean, they worked tirelessly keeping all these boats, you know, at this top level, and today was an absolute hammering for the boats. So they seem to have a slight problem with the rudder. Tom Slingsby was complaining about how the pitch of the boat wasn't quite performing as he wanted to be, so how far the front or the back of the boat's up in the air, which seems to be quite a crucial factor with these T-foils. So big fix required. And well, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Chris Draper knows any of the words to this national anthem. That's what I'm most intrigued to watch right now. Big smile on his face, not seeing much singing just yet. Some singing awards to Tash Bryan there. I think Chris Draper's got a little bit of homework to do between now and Sydney if they're going to hope to stand on the podium there.
I guarantee there were a few Aussies out there, and here we go with the oi, oi, oi as the celebration begins. Draper certainly knows how to open a bottle of bubbly.
Well, that is something he definitely has got himself fully across right there. Big celebrations, means a lot, must be sweet in front of the New Zealand fans as well for this Australian team. But you know, one thing for sure is that Pete Burling, Blair Too, and that Black Foils team are going to want to return the favour in a few weeks' time.
And that's coming up on February 8th and 9th. We'll be in Sydney for the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix. Quick turnaround, not a long journey, Stevie, but to your point, it's going to sting a little bit for the Kiwis, but they'll be at a quick chance to bring it back. So let's take a look at the highlights as we go back. Remember, it was a little bit of a change in format. Day one, we had 4 fleet races, 3 fleet races on day number 2. Emily, plenty of time to get some more points.
Plenty of time to get some more points, but it was the starting today that was so impressive, especially in that first one. Australia only 2 meters off of the line.
It really was a story of this whole regatta, Stevie. This starts in Australia, match made in heaven.
Yeah, Emirates Great Britain and the Aussies did stay all over each other the whole event, really. And the Emirates winning moment, well, it went more often than not to that Australian crew. Fantastic performance. And as Emily alludes to, the starting was really where they'd made the big gains, I feel. They sailed well round the course, but once you're out in front, it's often that you're going to make less mistakes. They weren't fault-free, made the odd mistake, but wow, they were pretty good all weekend, weren't they?
Race 5 goes the way of the Australians. Race 6 goes the way of the Danes. And this is where it got really sticky, where Emily was really crunching the numbers on the abacus. Denmark closes out the regatta, Emily, winning races 6 and 7. That's 20 points, and it still wasn't enough to get them into the final. I thought they had already made it, but no.
No, it was tight with all of the teams, and we really saw just how important all of those maneuvers were. Teams were crashing down left, right, and centre. And once they came off the foils, it was so hard to move back up through the fleet. 11 boats on that race course. It's just so busy.
Race number 7 was an exciting one again, and always fun to see them coming down to the bottom of the course at that DP World Gate where the winds were so high. Saw some very sporty moments down there, Stevie, but again, it's the consistency. New Zealand looked good in this race, but just not good enough.
Yeah, they didn't get off the start line, did they? I mean, Rockwool Denmark had a pretty poor start. but they didn't do enough. Good gains for the Danish. They'll be happy. They didn't make that final.
And then it came down to the final. Australia, Emirates GBR, and Spain doing battle. And what a great start. The Rolex best time start going the way of the Aussies. 0.82 on the line.
And at this point, they roll over the other two teams, doing 93 kilometers an hour to get to Mark 1 first.
Yeah, it was so tight, wasn't it? But it was just this moment here for the British. You see, they didn't quite get the foil on the lock. They maybe got in the disturbed wind of the Australians, but it was that error that made it so tight, turn into a big, big lead. Spanish, well, they didn't go away, did they? They kept chasing, they stayed in the race, but Australia were just too good, and I think that was a well-deserved victory for the Australian crew here this weekend.
So that's how it shakes down. It's Australia getting the win. It is Spain finishing in second and Emirates GBR finishing in third. Just a short time ago, the hardest working woman on the water, Lisa Darmanin, catching up with the winning driver. Here's Tom Slingsby.
All right, Tom, congratulations. You guys had a stellar weekend. A little bit nervous in that last fleet race, but it was worth the wait.
Yeah, well, we started so well all week. It's hugely satisfying to get a reward like this. As a team, it was very tough conditions, but everyone pulled together, everyone did their job. And yeah, we were very nervous in that last fleet race too. And fortunately, the boat works great. Amazing. A huge shout out to our shore team who did an amazing job all week. So yeah, we're stoked.
And the British, the Spanish, they pushed the whole way.
Yeah, I mean, we almost had instances with the British were very aggressive on the first reach. They were going for the luff very quickly, and then the Spanish throwing it in there at the last top mark. Good on them. They were going for the win. They weren't going to settle for second, so hats off.
Well, we better let you go get your trophy in front of Kiwi fans. Get off here and enjoy the celebration.
Okay, thank you very much.
So Tom Slingsby saying all the right things, giving credit to those who made it in the final with him. Again, Emirates GBR finishing third, and the defending champions from Season 4, Spain, finishing in second place. That'll wrap things up for the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix here in Auckland, the Rolex SailGP Championship. Coming up next, February 8th and 9th, it's the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix in Sydney. On behalf of Lisa Darman and Emily Nagel, Stevie Morrison, our entire crew, I'm Todd Harris saying so long from Auckland. We'll see you in a few weeks' time in Sydney.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, raw passion, all action. When it takes, racing on water, racing with impact. Give it all, everything. Give it all, everything. We are racing.